All right, so what do we got going on here? Do you have your phone on?
I believe
Do Not
so.
Disturb?
Great, they'll be calling me.
Yep.
All right, welcome to Flicks and Dicks. Welcome back. If you're a new listener, welcome to the show. Today we are doing the Brotherhood of Justice, 1986, starring a lot of people here, which we are definitely going to get into, because this movie is amazing. This movie is like the springboard for so many careers. It's nuts.
You think this movie was the springboard for so many careers?
Yeah, and we'll definitely get into that.
Okay.
That's not even a concern.
Okay.
So, starring
Keanu Reeves.
Lori Loughlin, Kiefer Sutherland, Joe Spano, Darren Dalton, Evan Morand, Don Michael Paul, Gary Riley, Billy the fuck Zane, Danny Nucci, which I don't know if you guys caught who he is, but I'm going to hit him in just a second. Danny De La Paz, and let's see, anybody else? No, nobody else really of note here, unless you have something else.
It's Lori Loughlin.
Lori
That's what I
Loughlin. Loughlin.
No.
If we were in fucking Ireland or Scotland, it'd be Loughlin. Loughlin.
No, there'd probably be like a CH in there. But it's spelled Loughlin.
Loughlin.
Loughlin. The GH makes
Can't we just call her the Full House Girl?
We can do that.
Oh, of course.
Or at least at this time, she's better known as the Rad Girl.
The Rad.
She was in Rad. She was in Rad. That BMX movie?
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's her.
I totally
It's
forgot
like
about
the exact
that.
same, almost the same year, which is just fucking incredible.
I totally forgot about that movie.
Oh yeah, big time.
I have to watch that one again.
Let's run down this list, shall we? So we're definitely gonna go over the cast and the characters, tell what we think about it, and then we're gonna go through the blow by blow of the whole movie here. And we have to do the synopsis first. We totally forgot to do that. So, according to IMDb, a group of high school students led by rich boy Derek is sick of school violence and decides to become underground vigilantes named Brotherhood of Justice. It starts with the idea. I can't continue until I see the full summary. It starts with the idea. It starts with the idea of watching people, but things get quickly out of control. Brotherhood of Justice turns out another gang of violence. Derek wants to stop it, but it's too late, so he takes responsibility for it and gives himself to the law. The law!
Okay, so at what point were they only watching?
Oh, I don't think there was any point.
They're watching.
Well, they had to have been watching because they came up with a list. So they knew that this person was doing this person was doing that.
Well,
they
that
knew
was
stuff,
just from their normal interaction.
But they really didn't make it where they're stalking people, other than the fact that they
Casing
had their
surveillance.
intel.
God, did they ever? I'm intelligence, yes, you are.
He was the computer whiz because his dad did some bullshit with computers.
Don't you ever notice with all these 80 movies, it's the only reason why anybody knows anything is because of their dad.
Right.
Okay.
That's not a fucking thing.
Hang on.
I don't know jack shit
Here's
about
a point of
helicopters.
note.
My dad was a pilot.
Point of note.
Do we have the details of this story? Because it's loosely based off of this
I
true
don't know.
story.
All I know is it was based on that story.
All right, so this real thing,
They're
they're called the Legion of Doom in Texas. Okay, it's high school in Texas. They're a bunch of white quarterbacks, or not quarterbacks, but the football team, and they were sick of people vandalizing their school and stuff like that, so they decided to take it into their own hands. Much like this movie, it gets out of control really quickly, turns real fucking... You thought this movie was racist? They turned real fucking racist. Neo-Nazi shit being spray-painted on people's lockers and shit like that.
Wait, what was this one?
This is the
Like
real Legion of Doom. They were called the Legion of Doom.
Oh, yeah, I got that part.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they were doing that shit.
Yeah. So it's it's a ridiculous premise with ridiculous characters based off of ridiculous premise with ridiculous characters.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. And this is definitely not new to the teen student vigilante genre. There's a couple other movies out there that run the same idea.
Right. Yeah. You know what was more fun to me than watching this movie is picturing the cast of American Pie doing this. 'Cause you have,
I love it.
What is his name? The Close My Eyes at Night. That guy.
That guy?
What's his name? Chris.
It's
It's not. What is his name?
whatever his name is.
Yeah. So he
The
would
hell
have
are you
been
talking
Keanu
about?
Reeves, the one who gets up and sings in the the a cappella group
In American Pie.
Oh.
Okay, this is good. This is
Gotcha,
really good. So
gotcha.
let's take the cast of American Pie and replace them with these characters. So you're saying this?
Because I'm thinking, how could we have made this a not made-for-TV movie? I know that you could have taken Keanu Reeves and you could have taken Kiefer Sutherland, but to me, it was funnier in my head to replace it with the cast of American Pie.
A little levity to this highly racist movie. So that being said, let's. Damn it! What was I going to say? I was totally going to say something. Who's playing who?
Okay, so the biggest thing for me would be the nice guy would be the one who ends up as the choir boy chasing after that girl.
Right,
And you
okay.
got Stifler.
Stifler? Okay.
Yeah, so
he
he-
plays.
That would have been Billy Zane.
Billy Zane.
I was going to say Mule.
Oh.
God, now I'm torn.
All right, we are going to hit that right after casting characters, okay?
Absolutely.
And we cannot forget to do that because that's fucking awesome, Lisa.
Okay.
All right. All right. So let's hit this cast of characters here. We're gonna go over this star-studded cast. This is holy shit. The who's who of Hollywood right now. Okay. Let's start with Keanu Reeves.
Kind of.
Look, this Keanu Reeves was not a headliner in this movie. He's brand new. He's brand new. He'd done like maybe 2 or 3 movies before that with nothing. They were like TV shit. So this is his first real movie.
I think it was like a year or two later that Bill and Ted.
Bill and
came
Ted's,
out.
that's right. Yeah, so this is like a year or 2 before Bill and Ted's. Bill and Ted's were launched.
Bill and Ted's, I thought, was in the early 90s. It had to have been early 90s. There's no way it was in the 80s. This movie
this
that
is
we're
86.
reviewing is that's mid 80s. Yeah, we're talking.
I don't
92.
think. I think Bill and Ted's was like
Fact check.
89 or 88. Seriously, because I saw Bill and Ted's when I was in high school, and I was a class of 94. So you're right, it might have been 90, 91, but I could have saw it in middle school.
Let's see. Ooh, Bill and Ted, 89.
Nice.
Wow.
That was either my freshman year or
I was
my
wrong.
yeah. It does happen sometimes.
Now, Bogus Journey came out in 91.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
let's not forget Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, the animated TV series.
Yeah, because which nobody saw.
I watched it. That's not really saying much, but I watched it.
So what did you think of Keanu Reeves' performance in this? I thought he was really good.
Sometimes really good, sometimes really not. That's I think when it turned to really not good, I just started picturing Chris Klein, and then I was happy.
What was that jackass movie you made me watch? A Walk in the Clouds.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
This is good.
Look.
Or stop. Don't,
Don't
shoot.
shoot. All right. We all know that one. Now, Keanu Reeves has made a ton of bad movies, but name any of these actors who have not made a lot of bad movies. Okay, let's incorporate the American Pie thing we got going on into
Shit.
this. So, who is Keanu Reeves playing in American Pie? Or vice versa? Which American Pie
No. I
character?
can't imagine putting this cast in American Pie. I can
They're
imagine
putting
American
the cast of American Pie
cast
into this
Okay.
story.
So
Cool.
Chris Klein would be Keanu Reeves' character.
And Chris Klein playing who in American Pie?
He was Oz.
Oz. Okay,
Yeah.
he's Oz. All
But
right.
wait a minute. Who-
Okay, so then you have Jason Biggs,
Yeah, who would Jason Biggs play?
and then you have Shannon Elizabeth. So Shannon Elizabeth would definitely
she's,
be the
she
the
would
love
be Lori
interest.
Laughlin. She would be Lori Laughlin's character.
Oh yeah.
Except
yeah.
for Allison Hannigan would be the more tough, like I'm going to stand up to you.
Allison Hannigan would be that girl that was talking
That
to
was
him when
sitting
they
around
were
the
first.
table.
Yeah, was sitting
Yes.
at the table. Yeah,
Yes.
Right.
All right, so Keanu Reeves, I think he does such a good job in this movie. He's really bringing everything he's got. I mean, everything he's got. As a commentary, on IMDb noted, this is before he got his motion chip removed.
Yeah, he definitely. It
still-
looked like he was really.
God damn, he was trying.
He was really trying, but it wasn't any better or worse than Bill and Ted.
Oh, it was so much better.
But it was way better
it
than
flowed.
anything else from the time on. I guess up until like Matrix action, but I mean,
I still say Bill and Ted was his best role ever.
it was
I
the
think
most.
Keanu Reeves is a
fit
really
for him.
good actor.
What?
Yeah, I think he's very good. He's got a style that
he's a
people
great
misinterpret.
human being. I think he's a great human being.
I think he's a really good actor.
I think you're joking right now.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. I actually really like his performances.
Huh.
He's got a voice cadence that people may misinterpret, but I think he's a very good actor.
You just
if you
blew
had
my mind
zero
with that
emotion,
statement.
If you had zero emotion, then sure.
He does have tons of emotion, guys. In the lake house, he's totally bringing it.
In
there.
Lake House where he sticks his dick in the mailbox and then she opens it up later. was that?
Is that not how it works?
Oh wait, no, that was
they were
Family
just doing
Guy.
letters. Yeah,
That was Family Guy. Sorry.
Really? They put that on Family Guy?
Yeah.
Gross. All right, let's move on to Lori Loughlin.
I just have a hard time looking past her being from Full House, but she did a great job. She was charming, she was cute, she was strong, she was
I think she was
perfect.
like with the other actors in this movie where their delivery of their lines flowed, and it flowed with an ease that you don't see, number one, in a lot of TV, made-for-TV movies, or just high school kids in general.
Oh my gosh, now change it out for the cast from Saved by the Bell.
Oh Jesus.
Oh, she's
Tiffany Amber
Yeah, she's
Thiessen.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I do not
She can-
think that lines were delivered flawlessly. Whatever.
What?
They got better as the movie went on, but when the movie started with Keanu Reeves walking up and his little brother is doing his hair.
Rouse yourself, little brother. We're leaving 5.
Okay, so
Well, that
here's
was
what I
when his little
noticed
brother
about
was
this.
strung out on coke.
Here's what I noticed about the script is I thought that the script was totally on point,
Yeah.
but their delivery was delayed.
I thought the delivery was delayed and
how?
lame.
Remember when they were walking and they saw the girl on the beach and they're like, oh, she's on the beach. And then it was, well, I called dibs. And then like a second later, he said something else about her. And it was just, it wasn't a conversation. It was like line.
No, I
I'm gonna
had
wait
the
till you
exact
finish speaking.
opposite response to those. But it seemed like, number one, they're ad-libbing. But in a very, very, like, this is just shit you say as you're jacking off on the beach, you know?
Not about the jacking off part.
Well,
It
yeah.
gets, a little gritty.
But they should have like smacked each other on the shoulder and been like, "Dibs, she's mine." Something.
They
but
were
no, it
always
was,
slapping each other, smacking each
it
other,
was
and being
Dibs,
playful banter.
she's mine.
What?
Oh my gosh, rewatch the scene.
It was bad.
I
It was bad.
took issue with all the fucking high fives in this movie. There were just high fives for days. Every time you turn around, they'd be like, "You suck the what? I suck the emotion. High five!" And then they had their own special high five. I didn't know. I never saw anybody high five anyone. You turn your hand upside down and slap the other hand. Which, if high fives can be obnoxious enough, they're
guess I
doing
missed
a
that
variation on that high five.
Or I just conveniently forgot.
Yeah, it's a unique way. It's their own branding on the high five. But what Lori Loughlin's character?
Laughlin.
Lori Loughlin's character.
I think she did great. I kept seeing Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Gotcha.
I just saw Full House mom, Becky. I mean, she was hot.
She played the exact same role she played in. If she's got
Everything?
variations on roles, she played the exact same role she played in Red.
And everything.
Everything.
Okay.
Everything.
Cool.
So she did a great job being
Playing herself.
But I thought, even playing herself, she brought it, and she brought everything she had. It's like
been
these
brought.
actors had something to prove. They're like, this is our one chance, our one chance to come back here and tell our enemies. Kiefer fucking Sutherland.
Oh, he was great. He was perfect for the
God,
role.
he was. He was like,
Perfectly cast. He didn't look creepy.
he was
That
still
the
a
thing.
nobody.
He didn't look creepy.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's not, the first time he
Kiefer
didn't look
Sutherland
creepy.
and Donald Sutherland. They have both, throughout their entire careers, they've never had any problem doing, like a cameo spot in so many movies. Whether it's Kiefer Sutherland's creepy ass voice on the telephone and phone booth.
Oh, that was Kiefer Sutherland. That's right. Okay.
They've always done. They actually thoroughly enjoy acting.
And there's a fine line between, looking at somebody and being always there, like on the stalker end of it, and then being charming at the same time, where you want to be friends with them and look out for them. And he
was on
it.
that side. He was absolutely likable. You were completely behind him.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
This whole movie.
Totally.
And he had that like, I'm still a badass. I don't need to flaunt it, but I'm still a badass. In that one scene where he's like, get behind me, Pasty. He's like, get behind me. It's like, what do you intend to do here? I mean, you're one on
You're gonna
6.
get your ass beat.
Totally. And yet he's still fearless. Oh, he's a very likable character in this. And this is before gritty Kiefer Sutherland, before creepy Kiefer Sutherland. And I don't think Kiefer Sutherland's creepy so much as just he always plays a dickhead of some kind.
Right.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to Joe Spano. I have a special place in my heart for this guy.
Honestly, the only thing I know Joe Spano from is NCIS.
He was in Apollo 13. He played one of the administrators.
Oh, he was one of the administrator guys.
Yeah, he was like, give me odds, all this stuff. And I think he does very well with that kind of role. He is the I am the red tape guy. You have to get past me to get what you want. I love Joe Spano. He's got this unique look, this very good delivery, and he's bringing it here too. And he'd been in tons of movies before this. So,
All right, as far as Kiefer Sutherland goes, apparently it was his Brotherhood of Justice was his 6th movie.
yeah, but first real movie. Everything else was kind of like.
You're calling a made-for-TV movie a real movie.
I am, because this one had kind of a powerhouse behind it with the director and the producers behind it.
I felt like I was watching an after-school fucking special.
Yeah, I know it kind of comes off as PSA, but guys, they really went through so many lengths in terms of direction and letting the actors kind of go. And with the casting, the auditions, all of that, they really got the best they could get with this kind of budget.
Okay, Billy Zane always plays an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not always, but for the most part, he's an asshole on film. He did a fantastic job, but at that point, I mean, I don't want to say it was a big budget kind of a thing because all of these actors were, for the most part,
New.
brand spanking freaking
All
new.
of them were new. Yeah.
The casting director for this was a genius.
Absolute genius. Holy shit. The casting of siblings and stuff I was a little bit confused on, especially since these guys are supposed to be the Aryan nation. And there's a lot of ethnicity going on with these guys.
Oh my God,
I'm
Keanu
like,
Reeves' little brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy has absolutely no room to be, or the housekeeper being like, white boys don't commit
rob
crimes.
people,
Yeah.
or whatever.
White boys. I'm like, who are you talking to? This kid's.
Now we're talking about race in this movie because it's not just
everywhere.
brought up.
Yeah.
It's thrown
it's
in
pretty
your
freaking-
face.
it's pretty freaking racy.
Casually too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like real casual racism, which is strange for for a PSA.
Right.
Throw out one quick random note. Kiefer Sutherland, right after he did this, did Stand By Me and then The
No
Lost Boys.
shit, right? No shit. Right after this, does Stand By Me and The Lost Boys. It's like, oh, hello.
And then
Welcome
Keanu
to
Reeves
Hollywood.
did Bill and Ted.
Yeah, like right after this
Didn't
movie.
see
these guys-
that one coming.
No. Yeah, no. That's such a strange role.
I totally saw Bill and Ted coming right after this.
I thought Joe Spano's delivery, when they first have, we'll get into it with the blow by blow, but when he first has a meeting and addresses a senior class, this is a wonderfully delivered speech. I mean, this is what actors are like, okay, here's my monologue. This is my time to shine. And he does a very good job.
Joe Spano's a good actor.
Love him. All right. Darren Dalton, he plays Scotty. This is hilarious with Darren Dalton because I think you could probably consider him the headliner of this movie. In all these movies, they need a headliner of some kind. And this is as close, this is probably the biggest actor at the time. This is so ironic because you don't even fucking know who this guy is anymore. And yet everybody else went on to do like these amazing movies.
Yeah, I recognize his face from various things,
No,
but I
keep
couldn't tell you.
looking. He's in The Outsiders, and right after that he did. Well, he was in Fame after this movie, but right after The Outsiders was
Red Dawn was before
Red
this.
Dawn, there
it was
you go.
before this movie.
Yeah, Red Dawn's before this.
He was in Red
He's
Dawn?
in two very very big movies, so he had to have been the name.
Okay,
Which
You really? No.
He had to have been. He had to have been the headliner because with those two movies at that time, they were huge successes, and nobody
In
else was
opening
known.
credits, it's starring Keanu Reeves. It wasn't
Has to be an order of appearance, probably.
maybe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
In the 80s, a lot of the movies
Yeah, a
were.
lot
Or
of
in
we've
order
got
of
we've hit
appearance,
this on other
yes.
podcasts. A lot of the 80s movies do order of appearance.
Okay, I was looking at the poster for Brotherhood of Justice, and it kind of weirded me out because at the top it's got Keanu Reeves, The Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Revolution, Kiefer Sutherland, 24.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
So
that-
yeah,
that
it's
is clearly
it's
not the
clearly
original
an
movie
adjusted
poster.
movie.
But
poster.
I mean, I had to really do some digging online for any details of this movie. But I did find some movie posters, or for the DVD covers and all that. It's so funny. The DVD cover looks exactly like the DVD cover of Point Break.
Actually, Keanu Reeves and Kiefer Sutherland were the headliners on the original movie poster.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, tell me that does not look like.
not your Chris Dalton guy or whatever.
No.
No, when I say headliner, I mean the name that you bring to the movie.
Well, wouldn't you put up the person who was a headliner?
Well, they're the main stars in the movie, but the main character is almost never the headliner.
Oh, that's so funny.
I mean,
This
if you were
sound-
making a comparison, The Hunger Games, Donald Sutherland is really like the veteran actor that brings credibility to the movie, right?
What's that one Drew
he's-
Barrymore movie where she dies instantly?
Scream.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
fuck
died in the
yeah.
first like, 5
Perfect.
minutes
And they're
of the
like,
movie.
oh, it's a Drew Barrymore
And she's on the
movie.
goddamn
But
poster,
Drew Barrymore
which is
was
bullshit.
one of the headlining names.
Yeah, but she was on the poster. This, he's
All right.
not on the
Which is-
poster.
yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get into the movie here. Looking at the poster, in this town, if you deal, or steal, you die. That's a promise from the Brotherhood. Nobody fucking died.
Came close.
Oh yes, until Keanu Reeves, all of a sudden, I thought I was watching for a moment a Speed prequel.
No shit. Oh.
He comes flying in and cuts the cord.
Gets under there and cuts. I'm like, do they use everything from this movie in subsequent Keanu Reeves films? Which is so funny. Especially if the movie poster looked exactly like Point Break. All right. So now we're moving on. I still maintain Darren Dalton was probably the headliner in this movie. Evan Moran, Mule. Okay, the only other movie I know him in is My Best Friend is a Vampire. That's the only other one, which came out like 2
Was
years
he
after
in?
this.
Yeah,
Yeah, he played the
he's in
friend.
Fight Club. And
I don't know who he is in Fight Club.
Probably one of the lackeys.
It's kind of sad. But it's almost like all these other guys, right after this movie, got invited to a Hollywood party. Like, oh, welcome to Hollywood. And like, Mule, whoever, Evan Mirand was like at the end of the line. And then they put the ropes up and like, you can't come in. And he's like, no, I'm with these guys. And he's like, nope, sorry. Hollywood's not accepting you now.
Oh, totally.
Actually, right before this, he did ABC After School Specials in 1983. So, yeah, we really are in the same...
If you check out, they're all doing the same thing, yeah. And if you check out his career afterwards, I actually give this guy a lot of props because later, there's like 6 years sometimes in between movies. It's like, this guy's really patient with his movie career. It's like,
Yeah.
I didn't get it this time.
Who was the kid that had his motorcycle stolen?
He
actor
went on
guy.
to be a director later on.
I was gonna say because I've seen him
Yeah,
in
we're getting to him.
various B-grade films.
Yeah, we're definitely getting
like
to him.
quite a few B-grade films.
All right, so let's move on to Colin. That's actually him, Don Michael Paul. How did he do? I thought he was a fucking 40-year-old in a teenager movie.
I thought the entire cast was...
Keanu Reeves looked like a kid. Kiefer Sutherland looked like a kid.
Okay, I remember, because I don't know why, I always hung out at the high school. I think it's because Mom was off doing other things, but I would always sit against the wall and wait for my siblings to get done with choir, with jazz band, with Pom Squad. I just sat there. And I remember especially our sister Tam's class, they all looked like grown-ups.
They did look like grown, but we were in middle school. You know?
Yeah, but now I'm looking at the style of dress. Yeah, if everybody is wearing a blazer and...
Why is Keanu Reeves wearing a suit throughout this whole movie? He's
Well-
wearing a suit.
Well,
'Cause
when
he's
was
a rich
Miami
kid, and
Vice
that was
come
back
out?
in the
I mean,
80s.
it was...
Oh, that's really obnoxious. Why would you want to get dressed up in California? Probably cold
No,
at
it was
the time.
winter in California,
Yeah,
so
okay.
you're fine.
Okay, you mentioned Miami Vice. Why not? Crockett and Tubbs, man, they were always running around wearing.
Everyone's
their
dressed to
suit
the
jackets
nines in
and-
the 80s,
Maybe that's
man.
why I always thought the Tam's class was a bunch of 30-year-olds. I thought
Because,
they were
yeah.
very grown up, and then by the time I got to high school, I looked like I was 12.
You look at their faces. And it's like, okay, they still have baby faces. They're 21 years old, but they still
Okay,
got
in this
baby
film,
faces.
Keanu Reeves was 22.
Yeah.
22 and 86.
Yeah.
You know that Keanu Reeves is now 51?
I did
That's a
not
little bit
know
weird,
that.
isn't it?
I did not know that. Holy
Ted.
shit.
Ted is 21. Or 61, you said? 51.
51.
Okay, so Don Michael Paul was born in 1963. So, yeah, everybody...
He was fucking old in
Yes.
this movie.
So
Yeah.
everybody is in their 20s playing teenagers.
Yeah, which is normal. I mean, Breakfast Club was the same way. Everyone except Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall were all like...
I really think
They
this
could
is
drink.
why it... I mean, I'm 37, and it's taken me a long time to like finally feel grown up because I always had this portrayed to me that you must look like this if you're a teenager, where I was like, woo, I just grew boobs, you know?
Yay! Go me!
Yay for boobs.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to Barnwell. I love this guy. This guy, Gary Riley. I love this guy. He was in 3 movies of note, okay? He was in Ruthless People. He's the guy who's like, hey, how much does it fucking cost? When he's talking to with Judge Reinhold about the stereo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so he was also in Lost Boys. No, I'm sorry, not Lost Boys. Stand By Me.
Yeah, I was gonna say
He
Stand By
plays
Me.
one of
Stand By Me.
the of Keith Sutherland's gang
Yep.
in Stand By Me.
He was one of the assholes.
Yeah,
which is
okay,
hilarious.
So he launched from this movie to Back to the Future, and then
I remember
to
him very
Stand By
well in
Me.
Back to the Future. Yeah.
So he really, yeah, bam, zoom.
Boom, 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 and then all of a sudden, nothing.
Yeah.
He just fell off the planet.
And 2 years later, he did Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah, who was he in that? I
have
couldn't.
no
I couldn't
freaking
picture
clue.
him in that one.
All I remember is John Candy and Steve Martin, but he was apparently in that.
That stands to reason. So I actually love his character. I think he could have gone really a lot further, but maybe he just wasn't into it or whatever. I don't know.
Did you ever wonder how he became friends with this group of guys?
They all seem like they're totally friends with each other. Billy Zane still hangs out with
Well, I'm not talking about real life. Like I'm talking
Oh.
about in the movie.
Oh, it's just an 80s trope. We talked about it before. He's the dork.
Yeah.
I guess they can't have a fat kid because they're just a bunch of jocks. So, yeah, he's just the geeky dork. But also, how did Scotty become part of the gang? Scotty seemed like he was really squeaky clean in comparison to all these guys. And then you have the psycho Billy Zane, which we're going to get to. But, yeah, he's a monster.
A little bit.
Yeah, Billy Zane. He does that well.
Yeah, but this was back before
Billy
he
Zane was a monster.
Right. So I think he's been typecast ever since this movie. They're like, you do creepy really, really well.
He did The Phantom,
Right, which bulked up big time
was
for that.
dumb as hell. It's a fun movie, don't get me wrong, but not award-winning by any stretch of the imagination.
So Mike, how do you feel that he did the?
Who did what?
How do you feel that Billy Zane did in this movie?
In this movie, I thought he did great.
I thought he was great.
Yeah.
I still think Billy Zane is a B actor, but I thought he did great for
Which is so
Billy
weird.
Zane.
He's
it is
good.
weird. He's really good.
I don't get why he takes all these weird, strange roles. It's like he's just taking anything that will be given
Okay,
to
no,
him.
it's not like he hasn't tried. He's auditioned. I can't name the movies off the top of my head, but he has auditioned for various movies and has been passed over.
I mean, if you want to call Titanic a
whomever
B-grade movie, that's fine.
No, he played a psycho, and he was in it for a combined total of maybe 15, 20 minutes.
No, he was also in Back to the Future.
Yeah,
He was in Back to the
he's
Future,
playing a
too.
thug. That's
He was an
just a weird Back to the Future tie-in with all these guys too. Well, two of them, I guess.
Two. Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
two.
So they both play the bullies,
Yeah.
which is hilarious. And then Billy Zane's got a connection to this next guy we're going to talk about, who's Danny Nucci. Did you guys place him?
Danny Nucci. Which one was Danny Nucci?
Danny Nucci's a brother.
Oh, the brother. The brother's done quite a few movies.
Yeah. Anything in
really like
particular? Blink and you'll miss it. Titanic.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Yeah, he's a Titanic.
He was what's his face's buddy.
Yes, it's his friend.
He was DiCaprio's
Yeah.
friend.
I am an Italian, because I'm an Italian. Fuck. And hello, he's with Billy Zane. What's the connection here? Do they all just play cards together?
Well, they weren't both in The Rock.
Did they all get
weren't
each other
both in
movie
Eraser
roles?
or Crimson Tide.
So Billy Zane's going to be famous for a year, so he's going to get jobs for his other buddies. And then his other buddies get famous when Billy Zane isn't, so they're going to get him a job.
Oh, that's how it went down.
So I think we can say definitely. I mean, this is the 6 Degrees of Separation movie.
This is where it starts. It could. I mean, I'm surprised Kevin Bacon's not in this movie.
Right.
Hey, Mike, crack me another one here.
Oh, I suppose.
All right, and so now we're going to get on to what I was absolutely impressed, and I know it's a small role, but Danny Delapaz.
Delapaz?
Yeah. Did you guys catch him? You know who he is?
Who is he?
He's playing the main. I wouldn't say he's the gang, but the main gang member. And
Of the Dust Heads?
No, it was the
gang.
the Mexican gang.
Oh, gotcha.
we don't know they're Mexican, Mike.
Right. We don't.
They were all wearing flannels, and the one kid, I just want to call him Sleepy, who had his bandana.
That was totally popular at the time. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember.
No,
Seriously?
I do not recall anyone legitimately wearing a bandana down
Oh, wait a minute.
so far over their eyes.
No, that was a thing.
A little bit, yes. A little bit over the eyes. But that shit was down to his fucking cheekbones.
Where it becomes a blindfold?
Yes.
Well, it's like they've been shooting all day. Maybe just kind of crept down a little bit. But
the only time I saw
let
that
us
shit was
reiterate
in
that
movie farces, where they were making fun of gang movies
I really
and
don't
whatnot,
think so.
Where their heads are tilted back at, like a fucking 45-degree
Lisa,
angle. They're like, hey.
Lisa, can I get an amen on this?
You can get an amen on
okay,
this.
all right.
Yeah.
Because we went to one of those directional schools. It was inner city and all that. And these guys were dressed and acted exactly like that.
Okay, apparently when I was a little kid, it was only the Bloods and the Crips, and I came out here to Colorado, and then you had, but nobody ever had, the little Mexican gangs, they never had their bandanas.
They were
not as far down as Dude did
They were
in the
so
movie.
popular, white suburban kids would emulate this, would copy it.
And because we
Remember
all
this
know,
was the
we
time
all
when they
know
were
that
buttoning the top-
when white suburbia emulates or imitates, it's to the letter, it's to the T, it's on board.
It may
with
not
what
be
everybody
to
else
the
is
letter to
doing.
the T, but it's popular. And it's what people want to look like.
I just thought it was dumb as hell. I just want to call him Sleepy.
I didn't think it was a stereotype, only because we'd seen that before. We'd gone to school with it. It was along the same lines as the top button only being buttoned on flannel shirts.
with chinos and white shirt
and
underneath.
it was a
everything
very
was
popular
perfectly
thing.
pressed.
That yes, but not the fucking bandana down to his damn cheekbones.
I'm telling you, these guys came really, really low down. I remember that.
Yes, but not to the cheekbones.
Okay.
Fuck.
Now, Danny De La Paz, he gives this performance. It's like he was given one page of a script, said, "Here are your lines. Do what you can with it." And he's like, "Okay, I'm bringing everything I've got." And God damn it, this scene. Everyone's got over a barrel, basically. They're sitting in a car. Now, even if I was in that situation, I'm not going to be sitting in the car. I'm getting out. Okay? At least give me a chance to run. And it was this display of power that says, I don't need to exert my power because I know that I've got power in this situation, and I'm going to be polite. I'm going to be respectful.
I was so
and he
fucking
was
happy that
Holy
they
shit,
did not follow the stereotype all the way through.
That's right. That's right.
When he tells them, don't ever come back here again. Unless you come
as my friend. Oh
Yes.
my
And I
God, that
like,
was
holy
such a good
shit.
line.
They could have very easily taken that stereotype through and through.
Yeah, they
and
didn't.
just made it out to be a horribly.
So this is
That's
where
why I
Travis
think this
thinks-
movie's better than you guys were thinking. I really do think this movie's better
Oh,
than
it
that.
definitely had its parts.
But you went
I still
into
think it
this saying
sucked.
this movie is totally racist, but I think that this movie was an after-school special trying to discredit
Address the problems.
and address racism.
Man.
Because around
They
every
can just
corner
say whatever
with,
they want in this
okay,
movie.
with
Holy
the
shit.
they were saying racist stuff, the housekeeper shut them down. They were saying
Yeah, good
racist
point.
stuff, and then when they were in the wrong neighborhood, they got shut down with if you want to come back as my friend, great. There were every situation where they brought up a racist comment, they were corrected. Like, hey,
Not true. Not
Okay,
true.
what
Billy
else?
Billy Zane referred to them as beaners, and there was no one. There was no one to step up and say, "Hey, you're an asshole." That's not.
That's
appropriate.
because they're sitting in a group of a bunch of white racist guys.
I'm just
white.
saying
I say
Yeah, white,
quote unquote white.
clothes,
Yeah,
yes.
they
yeah.
were not corrected
Nobody.
at every one. But you mentioned the maid stepping in when they made a racist comment. He didn't make a racist comment. All he said was ethnic minority.
Yeah,
That was all he
smirk,
said.
Smirk, ethnic minority.
Okay, he did smirk.
Yeah, totally. This totally Italian kid, by the way.
yes.
How are him and Keanu Reeves siblings? I'm glad we got rid of the parents right away because the parents had a meeting and the dad's playing golf.
Well, no,
Right.
the mom nobody
Through the whole
knew.
movie, they're
Throughout the whole
gone.
movie.
The mom, no one knew where the hell she was. He didn't know if she was at the ballet. He didn't know if she was at some meeting because the maid just kept shooting him down. Maybe.
That was awkward.
No.
That was an awkward exchange where he kept guessing where the mom might be.
It just
So
kept
is she over
going.
here? Is she
No.
over there?
I think
No.
that
She
was
over-
totally ad-libbed. I think it was totally ad-libbed. He was supposed to go in and just simply say fucking good morning.
Yeah, so that's how
And
we
he
open
didn't.
up is
But at the end of his guessing game, is mom at the ballet? Is mom at the
Mom and
blah,
dad
blah,
are
blah,
hanging
blah.
out with the same parents of Heather Graham and License to Drive.
All of a
That's
sudden,
what.
all of a sudden,
Right.
as an afterthought, it was, oh my god, I totally forgot. Line. Good morning. Good morning.
Okay. I think that's pretty much does it for the cast. I mean, everyone else is just kind of there.
That is
No
the
big deal.
longest cast list we have ever read.
Yep, it
on
is.
the show.
Yeah, License to
I don't
Drive
think it's the
went over
longest
maybe
cast
4
list. I
people.
think it's just the longest amount of time we put into a cast.
No, that was
list.
a lot of people that we covered, and because they all went on to do
They're all
something.
huge. They're all
Yeah.
completely noteworthy. I mean, we have to talk about this whole cast because holy shit, they're all like superstars now.
I think that Billy Zane.
Billy Zane is a household name.
Yes.
Now, whether or not he's...
Is he? You think so?
Do you know what's
I
funny?
really do.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I checked it out on IMDb. He's played himself in films more
Yeah.
times than he's played other characters.
He's done
Oh, wow.
143. He's acted in 143 things. Noteworthy.
Jesus! Billy, I mean, he's Billy the fuck Zane. Do you know how he got his role on Zoolander?
I still can't watch that movie, so I don't care how he got his role in
what's
Zoolander.
his name in Zoolander?
What's his face?
Ben Stiller. Okay,
Yeah.
Ben Stiller. He happened to be partying with Billy Zane while they were on location, right? And they just went to so many parties. Finally, Ben Stiller just like, "You want to be in the movie?" He's like, "Sure," and he plays himself.
All right.
I think he fits into every movie just fine.
Perfectly. He's
Yeah.
a chameleon.
Oh God, no! He's like fucking Adam Sandler in all his movies, where he always fits all of his buddies into every single one of his films.
Yeah,
in one way,
well,
form, or fashion.
hey, Ben Stiller's the one who gave him the role.
Yeah, Ben Stiller sucks.
No, I think Ben Stiller is. I think he's funny. I think he's funnier than what's that insufferable guy? What's
Adam
his,
Sandler?
No, not Adam
Oh.
Sandler. He's supposed to be hilarious. He was in The Anchorman and all.
Oh
that.
yeah, I knew.
Oh,
I knew
Will
the
Ferrell.
second you said
Will
he's
Ferrell.
supposed to be hilarious.
Will
Yeah, he's
Ferrell.
supposed to be hilarious.
Right. I didn't get the memo. I still haven't gotten the memo.
I think it's in the mail somewhere, but yeah, I haven't.
He's done a couple movies that I like. What was the one where his life is being narrated?
Okay, that's the only one.
The only one, he's like, I'm legitimate.
He's the Shat part 2.
He is the shat. Okay, so he's played himself in 46 movies.
Billy Zane?
Yeah, I love
He's
it.
just that interesting.
He's Billy Zane, man.
Okay, I like Billy Zane, and don't misunderstand.
Of course you like him.
Don't misunderstand. Just because he's a B-grade actor does not make him less of an actor in my mind. I mean, come on, you've got Bruce fucking Campbell. Bruce Campbell is a god. Fucking love Bruce.
Bruce Campbell is a
motherfucking
god.
Campbell. Bruce Campbell is awesome.
I had a doctor named Bruce Campbell, and that was pretty awesome.
That weirded me out. I
Yeah.
about shit when I heard that.
There's a little plug for Bruce Campbell, MD.
Honey, you'll never guess who my new doctor is. Bruce Campbell. What?
Holy shit. Yeah, that is a little bit weird.
Yeah, when you bring home a prescription bottle that says Bruce Campbell, MD.
Has he
it's
been
funny.
to the jungle, playing with the white apes, all that stuff? You know?
I don't know, but I thought he was a rock star.
Bruce Campbell going to the jungle?
Congo, Mike, the Congo.
Oh, shit.
Get with it. Get with it.
Congo.
That was. Oh my God, Bruce Campbell's in this movie. Dun, dun, dun.
It's like the only movie of his that I have not seen.
That's okay. It's you're not missing anything, but
It's
you're
Bruce Campbell. I have to watch.
but you are missing a kick-ass Ghostbuster doing a horrible accent. Anyway, yeah. All right, let's talk about the cars in this movie. I think that's absolutely noteworthy. There are some fucking cars, and they're random and they're weird cars to have. And for the longest time, I always thought that Derek's car was an IROC Z, and it's not. It's not even close.
Why did you think that?
Seriously.
Because it looked like it just had that red kind of angular shape of an IROC Z.
Oh, a red car.
You know enough about that, okay? I remember as a kid riding around an IROC Z, which people always get confused with the 280Z. They're not the same fucking car, people.
It's like confusing a Mercedes for a VW.
Yeah, Mike,
Kinda.
something like that. Yeah. So let's talk about the 3 most notable cars in this movie. One is that red car he's driving is an '85 Mercury McLaren ASC convertible.
Oh, it's a McLaren, really?
Yeah, it's basically a rebadged Ford Mustang.
I was gonna say it looked like a Mustang.
Did you think it looked like a Mustang? I didn't think it actually looked like a Mustang.
Kind of, sort of.
I had to question it because it didn't look like an anything. I mean, it was.
It was like a generic movie convertible.
Yeah,
like-
Yeah.
like straight off the Barbie's
It
lot.
It looked like a Chrysler convertible. It didn't look like a McLaren. It didn't really necessarily look like
That's
a
not
Mustang.
the McLaren you're thinking of.
But thought it kind of resembled a Mustang.
It's not the McLaren that you're looking for.
This isn't the McLaren that you're looking
Shit.
for. If you got something to contribute, honey, just jump right in. There's my wife being the silent partner here again.
You're
Cracking myself up over
here.
I thought it was. I couldn't place where they were. You know, I couldn't.
They're in Santa Lucia, not to be confused with Santa Lucia.
Right.
They're in Santa Lucia.
Lucia, not
In
Santa Lucia.
Santa Lucia. They pronounce it Lucia, which is weird. It's spelled exactly the same as Santa
So
Lucia.
California?
Yeah.
They were
Okay.
definitely
They're definitely in California.
Yeah, so
Definitely California.
I completely thought that they were in California, but you look around and it is, you can tell that they're all, like, it's a total rich school, but they don't have rich things around them.
That's true. I did notice that because the only way I even knew there was an affluent school is because the guy said it used to be a country club.
Well,
I'm
no,
like,
he didn't say it used to be a country club. He said it's the country club of schools.
No,
like,
he says this place used to be a country club.
Yeah, I think he was using it.
He said it's not the country club that it used to be.
Right. They're not
So
saying
he wasn't saying
Yeah,
the
yeah.
school used to be a country
They're implying
club.
that this is like
He
the
was-
Cherry Creek.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But the whole rich hoity-toity bit.
didn't get that.
Dude's dad. Well, no, nothing about anything in this movie. Screams.
You
hoity-toity
have
or
rich kids
snotty.
in every single school you go to. They're every single school you go to. I've been to 5 or 6 schools, and in every single school, they've got the people who lived on the right side of the tracks, people who lived on the wrong side of the tracks. Every single one.
Because Derek's dad owns
a car dealership.
A car dealership.
One.
Not a string of a car dealership. They live in this apparently really snazzy home in the hills in California.
Yeah. You notice the rich dad in was it a Cinderella story with Hilary Duff? Is it Hilary Duff?
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy's dad was a car dealer as well. Do car dealers make good money?
I think owning a car dealership is
Holy
good
shit.
money.
That's the movie that I saw with the girls, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he owned a string of
She's all
dealerships.
that. His dad owns a car dealership. Oh no, the guys who had that big old party, his dad owned Harrison Ford, which is supposed to be the big joke. His dad owns Harrison Ford.
Harrison.
Duh.
That was really funny.
Wah, 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 wah. And Harrison Ford's like, yeah, you still didn't get my permission for that shit. All right, so we have his other kick-ass car. It's a 1950 Mercury Coupe. That is the one Kiefer Sutherland's driving.
Yep.
That's an
That
amazing
badass
car.
car.
Again, very, very random for a movie that's not really featuring the cars, it's just driving around in them. I'm surprised they didn't have something more generic. Where are they getting these cars? Are these the
From
producers'
the one
cars?
car dealership in the, they're all getting them from his dad.
Oh, the quote-unquote antique cars.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? You're driving a 1967.
How many 1960s cars were in this movie?
Again, a 20-year-old car. From the 80s, a 20-year-old
Yep.
car. And
Yep.
they're making a big deal out of it.
Right.
You had
That is so weird.
it's
but they
bizarre.
fit a lot of fucking people in that car,
They
didn't they?
sure
They fit
did.
six athletes. Well, 5
I
athletes and
told
1
you
nerd.
back then it was more about how many people you can fit in the car
Oh, hell yeah.
than being zippy.
Anyway, if you want more conversation on this guy, just refer back to our License to Drive podcast episode.
What cars did the Chicanos drive?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to use the word Chicano throughout this whole podcast.
Well, oh my god!
I'm having
It's
so much
not-
trouble
it's-
with this
it's
shit.
It's not a derogatory
It's
term.
not? Are
No.
you sure?
Yes.
It sounds like it.
Oh my god!
How about just the gang members or
You also thought that a Jimmy hat was a derogatory term.
It sounds like it should be.
It's a condom, damn it!
I'm like, where are you getting that?
From you, man. I learned it from watching you. But no, all of the
Gang members.
Yeah, sorry, not to go racist or anything, but
Yeah,
since they
thanks.
were Mexican, clearly they were gangbangers.
Why are they Mexican?
Why are they gangbangers?
Why aren't they just people, okay?
I was just
Can't we
I was just trying to point out the cars they were driving.
Okay, so you have your polo wearing people, then you have your flannel wearing people.
Okay.
Oh my god, who the fuck was that wearing an ascot?
Oh, somebody was wearing an ascot in this movie.
I'm still a fan of ascots. I think it's fine.
I think
We're running into a lot of those with these movies.
we're totally not discussing the movie anymore, but
It's
I think those
okay.
are dumb as hell.
All right, so they have that. And so we got Kiefer Sutherland's car, which is fucking awesome. And then we have, which we've just mentioned, is Mule's car, which is a 1967 Oldsmobile Cutlass convertible, which is I'd kill for that car. Now, but back then, this car is nothing.
That would be the car that they're like, oh, you got an old car in your garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's.
It's an antique car.
It's not even antique.
Well, that's how they reference the cars in the.
It's a 20-year-old car,
Antique.
which is like talking about what I mentioned before: Colts, Tempos, and Tauruses.
What year was the car Kiefer Sutherland had?
That was 1950.
I was going to say that
Yeah,
was
that's a
50s.
that's a
there
classic
you go.
car. I
Okay,
mean, that's
so
great.
That was the differentiation between antique and just old.
So what's a 30-year-old car now?
Old was 60s, antique was 50s.
What's a 37-year-old car right now?
Free.
A Pinto.
Which is hilarious because it's like driving around in Pinto, cherry Pinto, right? And someone's like, "Hey, nice wheels." I mean, if it was completely straight, you would say that. You're like, "Jesus Christ, that's amazing."
What the hell movie was that? Was that oh my God. It's sucking my will to live.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Was that Wayne's World? Where
No, that was
the Pinto.
that was a Pacer.
Oh no, there's
That was-
it was
they
a
were
Pacer
driving
that-
a
that-
Pacer.
No, they were driving a Pacer,
Yeah.
but a Pinto at some. It might have been a different movie, I think, where the Pinto goes through all of this and everybody's freaking out because Pintos explode, the drop of a
Yeah,
hat.
yeah.
And the car's going through all kinds of this, that, and the other, and nothing happens to the car. And then all of a sudden, at the very end, like a grocery cart or something, slowly, gently rolls. And just
I didn't
taps
see that
the
movie,
car.
Mike, but that sounds
Boom!
hilarious. That sounds hilarious.
Look that shit up now.
All right. So we've gone over the cast of characters. We've gone over the cars. Which, hey, incidentally, the car that gets blown up towards the end of the movie, that's a brand new MGB.
Oh yeah, it didn't get blown up. They just torched it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Well,
yeah, it's unusable at best. But
But the tire did explode. You could hear the gentle pop.
oh, did you?
Yeah, you didn't hear that?
Apparently, I just learned that tire fires are almost impossible to put out.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that was I didn't know
they
that
just
was.
burn until they're done.
Huh, huh.
Yeah, you can't do anything about them really.
All right, so let's get into this movie blow by blow. We open up on the school getting vandalized. These kids jumping the fence, and they are going through and spray painting, damaging shit.
Using really shitty spray paint, if I can point that out.
I'm sorry. What made this particular brand of spray paint shitty?
I have no idea.
that was his
But
biggest
did you-
comment when we're watching
Yeah,
the
did
movie.
you-
He's
did
like,
you not notice
Look at
that?
that bullshit spray paint.
Did you guys not notice that? The spray paint, they're like going over all this stuff, you don't really see anything. Until he holds the spray paint in one spot for like 30 seconds. Then all of a sudden
You
can
don't think
see
that was just
something.
the angle of the camera and the lighting? Like, you
well,
really
even when they
couldn't see
showed
it.
it the next day, it was like these little spots here and these little spots there. Yeah, it was crappy spray paint in bad
They must
colors.
have made shitty spray paint back in the
They
day.
cut the line where the guy's like, "Where'd you get this fucking bullshit? we can't really do any damage with this. Let's go break some TVs."
I thought for sure that they would say who did the vandalizing of the school.
I think it was just rival school thing, or
That was never even insinuated.
well, that wasn't implied to be the gang members, right?
And they didn't even have like this big walk-up moment. All the kids are going about their business like, oh, this happens all the time.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah.
They walked up like it was no big thing.
Yeah, I expected for everybody to be like, murmuring and talking, milling about, but no, nothing. They just went to their lockers
the only
and
comments on
opened
it
stuff
was, who uses these colors?
Yeah, that's so true. Like it's a daily occurrence. This would make sense in a movie like Tough Turf, where this shit just happens all the time. But this is supposed to be a country club school, and this shit.
You're in the hills of California.
Yeah, I mean, you think that would be a little bit surprising, but no.
No,
not
they
this
were
one.
they were pretty okay with it.
So yeah, they're going through, they're breaking all stuff. So next day, they're not surprised, but they do get this meeting with the cop, and the cop says, hey, listen, we got to do something about this, otherwise we're going to start posting security officers and all that. So the principal goes and brings the senior class together to make an impassioned speech about being leaders, about setting an example. Now, this is a very lean on me type of speech and everything.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. So, and then these seniors are totally into this. I mean, they're like so ravenous. They're standing up, giving standing ovations and all this stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, we're with you, buddy."
Yeah, it's like they only pulled student council instead of like the entire senior class. Everybody was.
I thought it was the whole senior class.
It was the whole senior class, but the way that they supported
The
their
feel
principal
of was student
like they
council.
only chose the leaders. So you have the quarterback, you've got student council president.
You had
I mean,
the suck ups and the goody goodies.
Yeah,
but that was
We're
the
not
entire
talking about the
senior class.
student rep meeting. We're talking about
No, I know.
the assembly.
the assembly.
Yeah.
If you looked around the room, everybody was looking all respectable. There wasn't that outsider who's like, "Fuck this shit." It was very. everybody was in it. Yeah.
Jesus.
Everybody was gung ho.
If that was
for
a select
the principal's
group,
speech.
number one, that class is huge. Number two, wow, that took a lot of time to sit there and go, okay, let's get all these names of these individual people I want in this meeting.
I know it was the senior
There's
class.
hundreds of people in that room.
But
You really
they
thought it was a
all,
lot of people?
I thought
it
it
was
a ton of
it
people.
was a
yeah.
lot of people, but they all came across as the goody, you know.
All
the-
of them.
the
You scan the room
quarterback.
because I was looking at their outfits. You scan the room and everybody looked very preppy. Very
But not
preppy.
everyone. It was made clear not everyone in this movie was from money. Not everyone was.
Sure.
You had quite a few that they showed working. You know, you had Kiefer Sutherland's character, Lori Loughlin's character, some of their friends. You know, working at the
Even Mule's working on his own car.
at the pizza shop.
Yeah, yeah.
So you had various seniors working jobs.
I don't think
then
the
everybody
focus
was-
was that this was a rich school, but it was a very clean, respectable school.
All I got
Right.
from it was supposed to be a rich school until
Oh,
you
really?
saw the bugs and everything parked out front of the school, and then Mule when he comes flying in, shitty parking job. Opened up his car door and slammed it into the car
saw
next
that.
to him.
I totally saw that. He like completely doors the
all
car.
all
right
I
next
could
to
think
him.
was, you know, it was an accident, but they didn't want to reshoot that entire scene.
Do you know how many times I thought they're like, we got one take on this, guys.
Yep.
Do your best. I mean, all the extras that are walking towards the camera, they're staring right out of the camera. They're
Okay,
staring right
that
down
bit
and be like,
that bit was filmed at an actual high school. That
Yeah,
bit
right,
was filmed
right.
at an actual high
Here's
school.
what I was
so I was curious
impressed
to know,
with.
you know, how much time
Was
did they
it filmed
actually
during
have?
class?
I don't know, but all I could think was, wow, we got one take. Wow, I can't drive for shit. I'm a little nervous. This is kind of a nice car, so let me park it. And he doesn't even look. He just kind of whips the door open and bam. But for as you know, into their cars as they kind of sort of came across.
Yeah, I mean, he's working on his own car.
He didn't give it a second thought when he slammed his door into the neighboring car.
What would they have done to somebody else that slammed somebody else's car?
my God.
That would've
we were
been
just
an ass
gonna
whooping.
kick them in the teeth, you know?
Come on, license to drive. That would have
Yeah.
been an ass whooping.
Oh, that would have been a death sentence. They're gonna take out a crowbar and
That would have been a
Go
tire
to town
iron
on
the
you
size of a
guys.
baseball bat or a golf club. Lisa.
whoops. So my big question with the assembly is, as seniors, why do you care? This is your last
Because
year.
it's your legacy.
I would be addressing the juniors. I would not be addressing the seniors.
No, it's your legacy. They said you set the trends for style.
Yeah.
You set the example. People are looking up to the seniors, and you know, I remember with our oldest sisters, older sisters, there was so much school pride. And yeah, they're gonna look up to them. By the time we hit high school, it was like you couldn't tell a junior from a senior. People were going, to different
they're all
proms,
on
different
steroids.
schools. Nobody cared.
because
But
they're all 25.
yeah, in our
Okay.
sisters' graduating classes, it was nothing but school pride. So it doesn't bother me at all that they address the seniors because they're
maybe I
leaving a
just missed
legacy.
out because the schools I went to, there wasn't that school pride, I guess.
It's
and
because
yes,
you're in our class. I mean, you're
Yes, we
didn't graduate in the
we had
80s, early
seniors.
90s.
We had seniors that were forced to graduate only because they were now 21 years of age, and legally they could not be in a public school.
Yeah, totally.
all these people are 25, so they're
So what was that cat's name? He is Evan? No, not Evan. Oh, sorry, Don Michael Paul. Okay, Don Michael Paul is the must have been 40-year-old student attending at that time.
He's
who
the
rode
same
the
age.
Who rode
He's
the
the
motorcycle?
same age as Keanu Reeves.
Really?
Yep.
God, he looks so much older.
They were both born in '66.
He's the third guy to stand up on that standing ovation. Okay, the nerdy guy was the first one to stand up on
Yep.
that standing ovation. This guy Dan Michael Paul playing Colin, he was the third person to stand up. Okay, and then cut to he's completely mocking the principal at lunch.
Oh, totally.
He's totally making fun of him. I'm
Totally.
like, what happened to your school spirit, man? You were like ravenous at that point. So they're going, yes, with school spirit and pride, I'm going to be the best example in the world. I'm making you a
Mob
standing
mentality. It wasn't school
Total
spirit.
mob
It was mob
mentality.
mentality. That's all
God,
it was.
Teenagers suck. God, they totally suck. Yeah, so he's the third person
You
to
didn't
stand.
think that teenagers sucked when you were a teenager.
I should have. So yeah, and then he starts mocking the principal doing and then even the girl that was sitting there, she's like, "No, that's not what he said. He just said be a good example."
Okay, now to be honest, I didn't really get that he was mocking.
I didn't
the
think he was
principal
mocking
you
him
guys
either.
didn't see that?
No.
until the end of his speech when he started, not necessarily
Give me liberty
flamboyantly.
or give me. Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
it wasn't until that point where it's like, okay, now he's mocking. At first, first, he came across as sincere, in my
Bullshit.
opinion.
If he was doing that and the principal happened to be walking out in the courtyard, he'd be like,
Dude, you
"Oh man,
I didn't
you
get
have
that.
been
I thought
voted
I was
off.
reaching these kids."
You
and they're
have
making
been
fun of
voted
me."
off.
Yes.
2-1. It
Oh,
did not come
no,
across
this is not
as
democracy.
mocking.
I could be completely right. You could be fucking wrong.
Oh, you're just straight up wrong.
So yeah, this is where they are sowing the seeds of let's go ahead and get a brotherhood together. Oh God, even just saying it sounds so cheesy and dumb. And I'm sure when it was really happening in Texas, it was just as dorky. This is big time vigilante dorkiness going on.
when I read the name of the actual group, all I could think was WWE. Sorry, at the time it was WWF, and it was Legion of Doom. Wrestlers, man.
Man, and this is right along with all the Columbine bullshit and all that. It's like it's just another bunch of kids who just
trench
need
coats.
to get a life.
Yes.
Could this movie have been made post Columbine?
No.
Which is bullshit, by the way. I mean, you have the right to make art. You do. You cannot be censored in that respect.
Yeah.
You can't.
I grew up watching movies like that. I didn't go, postal and
Of course
start
not, 'cause
shooting
we're
up
not
schools and
psychopaths.
grocery stores. So you can't say, well, this movie is the direct reason why this shit happened. Anyway,
Total horseshit. Absolute horseshit. And any kids, any teenagers getting together and saying, we're going to be vigilantes by beating up homosexuals and beating up nerds and geeks. I mean, you are just dorks.
So
That's all you are.
let's dive into the what you had to have done wrong to make the list.
Oh, anything. And that's, the first half of this movie,
The
they were trying
thieves,
to
the
legitimize.
homos.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and he's
here's
ugly.
And a
here's
geek.
where the plot was very strange to me is that you have somebody who is dealing drugs to your little brother. That should be, he calls him number one on his list,
Yeah.
but the majority of the movie is focused on Pasty.
it really was focused on Pasty.
And Pasty, what did he really do wrong other than he was his own
This is what
vigilante?
we really need to hit in this movie, and you bring up a very, very good point. The first half of this movie is doing this, it's not high art, but it's doing this provocative type of dialogue with the audience. The audience is saying, some people in the classes like what the Brotherhood's doing, the other half are running for cover, right? That's what
Yeah.
they say in the movie. And in the first half of the movie, they do a really good job of that because their targets are legitimate scumbags. People
Right.
who
Yep.
are, all right, if you're dealing pot, whatever. But it's like heroin, stuff like that. And they want to rough
Coke,
them up.
pills, all that good stuff. Okay.
Am I saying it's good? Maybe not, but am I saying in terms of a thought-provoking piece?
I am not promoting vigilanteism. I am not
None of us are promoting this.
vigilanteism. But I would probably be on board with that. But I'm not promoting. Not promoting.
There's an inherent problem with vigilantism, and only in that right now it's really glamorized with Batman and all that. I mean, big time. Okay, and nobody's apologizing for that.
Batman, you got your TV shows,
If
Arrow,
you believe in
and Flash,
America
and all that
and
stuff.
you believe in the justice system and you believe in the Constitution, then you don't believe in vigilantism. You don't. You just straight up don't. It's inherently flawed. All right? Everybody has a right to be represented, no matter what, no matter how guilty you look. They all have a right to due process and to be represented fairly on both sides. Everybody does. That's your right as an American, and that's why the system works. So if you start getting behind Batman, the Shadow, or any other fucking DC comic, character out there, then you are straight up, I don't know, you're an American. And yeah, I said that, comic book girl.
Whoa. I respectfully disagree with you, sir.
Really? So you can get behind citizen justice.
I can get
Yeah.
behind a fictional character being a fictional character. I cannot get behind when you think that it's real life. That's silly. I think.
You don't think fiction has an influence on society, or tries to be
That's right
tries
up
to
there.
be a
Then-
mouthpiece for society?
Okay, you don't see the school shootings where they come out in Superman outfits and.
When you start bringing up Batman and shit like that,
It's
and
fucking Batman.
making those comparisons, that's when you start getting a little too close to the side of those morons that started trying to sue, Basketball Diaries and The Matrix and things like that, because you influenced so and so to make these choices. It's your fault that this
In
happened.
every single Batman movie, whether it's Tim Burton or Schumacher or or who's the latest, Chris Nolan. Every single one of those, what Batman doing is wrong. It's super wrong.
But when you've got the law that can't do anything because they are so bound up in the red
system?
tape and the system, they can't
The system
do anything.
that fairly tries people.
So instead of, I will totally argue both sides here. Absolutely love doing this shit. I get in trouble all the time for it, but I love doing this shit. When you're looking at a system that is so constipated with its own rules and regulations and nothing is getting done, do you just sit by and wait? Well, there's due process, so we're
So you
going
turn
to
your
wait.
head. So you look the other way when
Or you
citizens start taking care of the problem themselves.
It's a revolution. That's it, when people go, why?
But in this
say
case, they didn't
government
even
sucks,
ask
it's a
for the cops'
revolution.
help.
No,
They didn't want the cops'
No.
help.
no,
they
it was
didn't.
the principal who didn't want the
Yeah,
cops'
and
help.
principal
And
is
he
the
went,
representative for the school.
he went to the kids for help.
Right.
So it's his fault.
It's his
most,
fault.
most
This is
definitely,
totally
most
his fault,
definitely.
yes.
Because he went
And he
to
didn't stop it. He didn't.
he went to children that were still so malleable and they really couldn't make decisions on their own. They were so horribly influenced by this principal that they had to go out and start attacking people.
didn't
and
see the principal getting arrested now, did we, in the end?
Yeah, we sure didn't. But he sure
Okay.
got a dressing down, though.
Okay,
Several times.
jumping ahead, who did we see getting arrested?
Keanu Reeves.
And the one major problem I had with that, okay, the biggest problem I had with the entire fucking movie, the very last person that you saw getting arrested, Keanu Reeves. So Keanu Reeves,
But he wasn't handcuffed and put in the car.
No,
He
but
wasn't
he
handcuffed.
was getting into the back of the car.
Because he had to go for a ride.
They're going
Why?
to take everybody down.
Why?
They're going to round up everybody and then ask questions later.
Why would they round him up when he already turned himself in?
So that
He's
the other
already
people
there,
didn't come
yeah.
after him, kind of look like, look, he got arrested too. He wasn't the whistleblower.
Thank you so much for turning yourself in. We're going to let you go home and say your goodbyes to your brother. Let's not try to drag him naked out of the shower again.
He
But
was, at the very
let's-
least, party to
He
felonies.
wasn't naked. He was in his underwear. Didn't you see it?
No.
Oops.
The brother, sorry, we're totally jumping around here. When he pulled his brother out of the shower.
Yeah, I got a note on that.
After he found the coke
Yeah, it was
in
in Oops.
his wallet.
There was-
no, he was naked.
No,
No,
there's
he
this,
wasn't
there-
naked. He had on underwear.
He had on
I didn't
Yeah.
see that. I saw straight skin all down his
I
side.
know
that
that.
once he was on the bed.
This is no. This is that. This is.
It was when he
this
dragged
movie
him out of the
was
shower.
really getting gritty at this point. He's supposed to be naked. Look, they're not going to stick a minor have a minor naked on a movie set. They're going to have him in his
It
underwear.
looked like it to me.
It is listed in a
I'm
flub.
sorry.
It's a flub. Yeah, it's a
It
flub.
is listed.
Oh, him in his underwear?
Yes.
Yeah. You're not going to have a kid naked. But in the
I
movie, in
totally
the
saw him.
story
I totally
narrative,
saw him naked.
he's fucking naked. I mean, Keanu Reeves is yanking him out of the shower
totally saw him
and
naked.
throwing him on the bed naked. I'm
And
like,
all I could think
holy
was a
shit.
made-for-TV movie.
Yeah.
And ABC,
They're
all
getting
about
real.
family, just showed some little preteen boy.
Yeah, they're getting really
Whoa.
gritty in this movie,
Whoa.
big time. And that's another. This is a very daring scene in a movie that is filled with mirrors, wall to wall. There's mirrors everywhere, and I'm like, holy shit!
All I
How
could
did they
think
not
was,
catch
how the
this
fuck?
stuff?
They had to really seriously work on the angle
Oh,
of those mirrors. to
I
hide
was-
the
Do you know
cameras.
what's so
Duly
impressive about
impressed.
this movie is this is a made-for-TV movie, and you take your big box office hits, and there's way more mistakes in those movies than in this movie.
I know. It's crazy. I think that's probably because the scope and the large production of those types of movies. Whereas this one, it was very low budget, so they only have so much to work with, so there's probably less that's going to be missed.
I've seen lower budgets that make it to the box office that come up with, they're just a mess.
Yeah,
because they're just,
yeah.
Movie machines trying to get it out there. But this one they
was
really
great.
put their time
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
why I was
yeah.
saying this movie. I think this movie is really good. So, okay, yeah. So they form this brotherhood, and they break up a couple parties. Right? They really mess up the kid that was dealing drugs to his brother and all that. And so,
Which again, I was totally behind that.
so shortly after that, right after that, he has this amazingly well civilized conversation with Kiefer Sutherland. So he tells Kiefer Sutherland, "Look, you're new here. You may not have known, but Christy's my girlfriend. I'm not sure if she told you that. I have some ravenous and psychotic friends who are looking for a reason, so I beseech you, don't give them a reason. I mean, that's the conversation he's having with Kiefer
He didn't
Sutherland.
say you're new here.
No, I know that, but I mean,
Oh, okay.
this
I
is
was like,
like,
'cause Kiefer Sutherland's
probably the
character had
dialogue
been
in his
there.
head. This is what this scene's supposed to be doing. He's just sitting there going, so, cool car. Yours ain't so bad yourself.
That's my
I
woman.
guess you didn't
Back
know
the fuck
Christy's
off,
my
bitch.
Yeah, I guess you didn't know Christy's my girlfriend. I mean, if you didn't, now I'm telling you.
Yeah, he didn't say it in a dickhead kind of way. I mean, he
It
really.
was totally civilized. I
It was
really enjoyed
civilized.
the scene.
Yeah.
I saw Bill and Ted right there.
You did?
I did.
What?
I did not.
I
didn't see
thought
that at all.
it was an awkward interaction between the two.
That would be an awkward interaction. You try having that conversation.
Not in the scope of him trying to approach him saying, "Hey, she's my woman, back the fuck off." Just
Well, any girl
Just
who can
as
whistle
awkward
Whistle with her
and forceful.
with her
fingers.
fingers.
that I thought was
That's Kiefer Sutherland's kind of just being like, I know you're telling me, but I'm not going to be told. You don't bother me.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to be nice. I see that you're trying to be nice, and I appreciate that. So,
No,
I mean, this is really...
I enjoyed that scene a
for,
lot.
for
Highbrow scene, yeah.
for Kiefer Sutherland's character right there, basically saying, "Okay, yeah, what of it?" Basically saying, "Okay, I'm not scared of you. You don't bother me." All I saw was an episode of Andy Griffith's show where you got Opie. Opie, he's confronted by a bully, and Opie does the whole draw a line in the sand. If you step over this line, then we're gonna have a problem, or whatever it was he said.
Sure.
Opie, little midget man that he was, then steps over the line, and he goes, "Well, okay," and he looks over to his little bully buddies and. If you step inside this circle, and he draws a circle in the sand with his toe.
If you step inside this triangle.
This circle, and Opie looks at him and steps inside the circle. That was all I thought of. When
If
I
you
saw
step
the scene.
inside this parallelogram...
What was nice about it was it wasn't the guy trying to move in on the girl to save her from a boyfriend who's beating her or something. It was not the, God, your boyfriend's a dick, I need to save you from it. He just actually had a real big crush on the girl.
He seemed like a genuine fucking sweetheart, stand-up dude.
Because in every movie that we see, the boyfriend's a douchebag where he's
Yeah.
honking his horn saying, "Get in the car!" And
No, Keanu Reeves isn't that way.
No.
No, but the character. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
talking about Keanu Reeves
No,
himself.
of course I'm not talking about Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
but I mean-
Derek.
Derek, sorry. Yeah, Derek.
So it was just, that's what was refreshing, is we didn't have the typical storyline where the guy who has money is a total douchebag saying, "Woman,
Absolutely.
come here."
This guy is
No,
a real good
Very
person.
good
they were
to
in a
his
very
girlfriend.
loving relationship.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
good
absolutely.
point.
I mean,
I
he
don't know
slammed
about loving,
DiCaprio's
but
book shut, which is like, God, do you even
that
know what
was rude
page
as
you were on?
fuck. But she opened it right back up to that
She
page.
did. That was amazing.
No, it took her. It didn't. No, she didn't. It took her a few. She opened it, then turned pages and turned pages.
And he is kind of like that privileged, kind of like, oh, you never have time for me. She's like,
I have a job.
I've got two
Which
jobs
she
now.
had
and-
to remind him of throughout.
Which I guess you would. I mean, you think of anyone your daughters may be dating,
Yes.
and might be in the same situation.
Yes.
But that's all I'm saying about that. That's all. That's all. All right. So right after this civilized conversation, he acts like a total dick to him in front of his friends at the pizza joint.
Oh, that
couldn't
was so
believe
out of the
that.
fucking blue.
This
That was
was-
so out of the blue.
You guys just had this really. This is so indicative of teenagers. I'm telling you, get them one-on-one, it's fine. You get them in a group, they're cretins. Absolute
Mob mentality.
cretins. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So right in front of me, all of a sudden he's like, "Make sure you don't drop anything." Yeah. Then I saw Bill and Ted, but
Yep.
yeah, make sure you don't drop anything. You think, got it? Does it make enough? Does money pay? Does this job pay enough?
I was waiting for Kiefer Sutherland to
Fuck.
whip around, fangs showing, and just
Wow. Oh yeah. It's like, you fucked with the wrong dude.
I'm a lost boy, bitch.
I just envision in the characters with these like crossover in these universes. I'm sitting there going, yeah, he was a vampire this whole time, but he just didn't get up to the point of Lost Boys yet because they're living in the same town and all that shit.
They should redo this movie with pick a character from a movie that you've been in the future and let's make a whole movie out of it.
God damn it!
Call
Yeah,
it the Lost Brotherhood.
the Lost Brotherhood.
Hell yeah.
So he's an absolute dick, and this is where they're gonna go hit Pasty for being a snitch and a dork.
Oh no.
The
He wasn't
biggest
just a snitch and a
offense
dork.
ever.
This is
He
where the
wasn't
movie
just a snitch
becomes.
and a dork. He was also ugly.
Oh, he's also ugly.
Ugly.
So yeah, let's
He
kick,
deserves an ass whooping
let's
for
kick the
that
shit out of
alone.
him. Were all the guys attractive? In the
I thought
Brotherhood of
this was a
Justice?
hair care commercial. This was like Vidal Sassoon VO5. I don't remember. There was one big hair shampoo.
There's
that
so
was
many
way
feathered coifs
big.
going on.
It was the most beautiful hair I've ever seen in a movie, and I don't even know why. Because I guess I was looking for the totally heated out feathered hair, where you've damaged the hell out. No, this
The
was.
VO5 gel and flat irons.
Cobra Kai style. I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
no doubt.
that shit ain't going anywhere. Even when he's doing karate,
No shameless
This
karate kid.
was
blood.
this was beautiful hair. Nobody should have been shamed for their hair in this movie.
But I mean, are they all attractive?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're all, I guess, good-looking guys.
no.
They're not all white.
No, the brains. The information guy. He's just a goofy looking bastard.
I was surprised
Seriously.
to see the girl sitting at their table when they were going through the speech right
Yeah,
before they
yeah.
became. She was plain.
Yeah, she was pretty plain Jane, like any extra you'd see in Footloose. So, those extras in Footloose, wow, they yank people
Yep.
straight off the street, man. I mean, nobody had a headshot on that shit. It's like, wow, this is just real-time USA here.
Well, they did the same thing when De Laurentiis Studios opened up in North Carolina. Everybody in North Carolina all of a sudden became an actor or actress, and people just came out of the woodwork, just started showing up. And yeah, the vast majority were extras in movies like Tracks and oh shit, the cat movie.
Cat's
Cat
eye.
movie.
Cat's Eye. Thank
Oh,
you.
Drew Barrymore.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Cat's Eye. So many North Carolinians
Yeah.
were extras in that movie. Back to the Future. So many people. Everybody was an actor all of a sudden. So yeah, they just literally yanked people off the fucking street to film these movies.
Yeah, that girl was pretty plain Jane, though, which I appreciated. And so right after they are getting ready to hit Pacey, and then Kiefer Sutherland comes out, and it's like, is there a problem here? And this, god damn it, he's such a badass in this movie because he's on 6-1, right? 6-1.
But I
And-
like the long awkward pause where he took time to look at their eyes.
Yeah. Okay,
Totally.
one thing I'm going to say about this movie, does nobody hear a voice? Everybody fucking knows it's them. Everybody does. All the kids do. Everybody knows it's them.
Seriously.
And so the cops
This is
sit
from
there-
a generation where you could call somebody on the phone and you'd say, hey, and they'd be like, oh, Joe, what's up? Because we actually spoke to each other then.
And you recognize their
yeah,
voices.
you recognize voices.
So we still speak to each other. My God.
No, I think the majority of it's been replaced with text.
Texting and all that is still a legitimate form of communication.
If somebody else grabs my phone and texts somebody, they're like, you didn't sound like yourself.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
No, I didn't
Okay,
sound
so
like
you
Through
still
text.
Texting,
Nuances.
motherfucker. I'm texting. I didn't speak to you
No.
at all.
But they say it didn't sound like you.
And it's a real thing.
Yes.
Yeah, you can tell if that person's not who they say they are. It's like, whoa.
Because
who
when
is
I'm
this?
driving, I hand the phone to my kids and I have them respond. But I will say word for word what I want them to say, or they just choose to do it on their own. But somebody can always tell. They're like, what was wrong with you? Why did you do this?
in the movie when they hijacked the PA system, and you could
Oh,
hear
yeah.
you could hear the notice. The Brotherhood is watching you. And
You
no
don't
one-
know the voices of your
no one
star
knew-
quarterbacks and your
That
all
was
your
the
big
star
jocks.
quarterback's voice.
No, it wasn't.
That was
Yeah, I
that,
know,
that was
I know,
the
those
brains.
mules.
It was the brains.
Was it?
It was
Oh, okay.
the smart computer kid who somehow managed to get these really awesome photos of individuals. And
I was impressed
built
with that.
dossiers on all of the people they were going to jump.
So weird.
You didn't notice that? Like, it should have been crappy photocopy, like where you cut it out and then you put it on and then you put it in a copy machine or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Like the resources you'd have.
No,
at
it looked like
school.
he's cut it straight out of a yearbook.
For the mid '80s, holy shit, dude, he put some time and effort into this shit.
That's right, because he was a genius. He was the hacker.
He had glossy fucking photos of the people that they were supposed to jump.
Oh,
Yep.
here there are 3x5 glosses. Here we go. So this is the point that point in the movie where Pacey's taking out the trash. This is where the movie becomes a PSA.
Yes.
From before that, it could have just as easily been any movie we've ever seen, just a low budget movie. This is where it becomes a PSA.
No, I thought with the constant racial comments where they were corrected, that's where it became it.
They weren't corrected as often enough as I wanted them to be.
No.
Yeah.
God, no.
They just threw out all sorts of shit.
But it was okay. I mean, for the context of the story, I mean, shit like that does go on, whether we like to admit it or not. people do use those terms. Whether it was in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, whatever, people did use those terms. People still use those terms. It doesn't make it okay.
Do I want that in my fucking made-for-TV PSA movie?
In the context of the story.
This isn't Birth of a Nation. This is some low-budget teeny bopper flick.
Okay.
With a cautionary tale.
Django got all kinds of shit for the number of uses of the N-word.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you
go
back to that time. You go back to that place. That place being the key there. You go back to that place, and nobody's going to sugarcoat shit.
God.
It's like expecting your kids to go off to school and not, use the F word, or so-and-so such a B, or is your child there in school, so-and-so is such a fucking bitch.
Those words aren't directed and have some kind of a historical context to actual events, to actual, real derogatory terms towards an individual demographic. I mean, me saying fuckity fuck 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 doesn't offend any one demographic. It might offend somebody's sensibilities, but not a demographic, not aimed at that one person because of the way they look.
But this movie being based loosely on actual events.
Jesus Christ, talk about turning into a PSA.
This movie being based loosely on actual events. If it was out of place, if it was out of context, then yes, I would have had a problem with it.
Did I think it was out of context? No. Did it make you want to throw up? Yes.
Yes.
It didn't make me want to throw up, really, but it was just like, oh God.
I'm sure
people do talk like that.
Because it was based off of real events and what those people did, and theirs was more race-based crime, it was relevant to the movie.
Which is so funny. I mean, we have Italian Americans all over this goddamn movie.
Oh, no shit. But no, it'd be like looking at American History X and saying, "Oh, that's such a shit movie because they use the N word."
No, I
because,
get it.
This is done that way.
I get it, but Saved by the Bell can't get away with this shit, right?
No.
Okay, and this movie's one step above.
One step above Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, it's one step above Saved by the Bell.
Not to jump off topic, but American History X, it did have major problems with parts of it just because of some of the racial or interracial aggression and everything that they used in it. It was difficult to watch, but knowing that, or understanding, I guess, that shit actually takes place, it did, I guess, kind of enlighten me as to what was going on, or what.
Do you know who does a really good job? And it's probably just because I'm going through all the shows, but I'm going back to the Wonder Years. Okay, they did a really good job dealing with that type of stuff, with racial politics, with the sexual revolution and all that. They do a really good job handling that. Kevin Arnold's dad is going to be sit around and have his world shaken by the fact that his wife wants to get a college degree. But in the end, he's supportive of his wife, and he'll go ahead and change with the times. But he's kicking and screaming. Yet we still like Kevin Arnold's dad, it's because they handle it in a very good way. You can't villainize Mr. Arnold.
No.
Okay, so they're getting ready for another representative council meeting or whatever, and so Don Michael Paul Colin, his bike gets stolen. His Harley Davidson, which is a Harley Davidson in the movie, his bike gets stolen by somebody. We're not exactly sure who.
There was
by
no
somebody.
way. I watched it. I watched it the second time when you fell asleep during the movie. I had to rewind it. When I saw it the second time,
So we pick riveting movies, don't we?
It's just bad timing. I did rewatch it, and we had it in our entire childhood. So
you still couldn't see who it was that stole the bike. They were covered. Like 98% of their body.
He fesses up to that after they get back with the showdown.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I couldn't have been sure. It's
maybe I was wrong.
Could you have said that before? We just risked our lives.
I just assumed since he was stealing my motorcycle, well, it had to have been a Mexican. So let's go into town. We can't go into town because it's a jungle out there. It's a jungle.
They carry guns.
We're leaving the hills.
You know what's...
we're going into the jungle.
We're going into town. It's a
Do you know
jungle.
what? If I was scared for my life, I wouldn't be riding around with it as a convertible. I think I would put the top on.
Does anybody in this movie
shit.
have a hard top?
No.
With tinted windows?
Shit. Put some cardboard up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it could be anybody in here, not a bunch of white guys.
I need to ride home because it's winter here in California, but let's drive with the top down.
And everyone's bundled up. They practically have gloves on because it's fucking freezing.
It's easier to film the movie when there's an open top, all right?
Yes.
We're all assumed to be white because we're in the hills, and we're going into the city where it's a jungle, and they're all Mexicans. And all of them are listening to Mexican music.
Do you know, I saw some of those establishing shots. No, there was some white dudes out, just grabbing some Mexican food for the night. It wasn't a big deal.
There were people out and about just walking.
I was cringing waiting for
shit.
because the amount of racial slurs that there were all throughout the movie. I was waiting for this scene to just be brutal.
I was waiting for a mariachi band. I was like, oh god, they're gonna have a mariachi band, and I'm gonna throw up.
No. It made honestly. Okay, you were talking puking earlier. this sequences, the number of sequences here, going into the jungle, that honestly made my skin crawl as they're driving down the boulevard, and it's nothing but Mexican music, and that's all well and good, but all I can think was, what stereotypes are we building on here? We're going into the city in California, and apparently in the city in California, everybody's Mexican, and everybody listens to the Mexican music, which is fine.
We have pockets of Metro Denver that really cater to a very specific demographic, whether you're Russian or whether you're Hispanic or
definitely
Mexican American.
Most definitely, but you didn't drive
New
down that
York's
street
got it,
and have
LA's
it forced
got
down
it.
your throat. You didn't drive down that street and all of a sudden that was all you could hear. Yes, you had your visuals. You had,
I was more nervous because it was a made-for-TV movie, and I didn't know where they were going with this.
I did not know where they were going with this.
I know that I watched this. Where are you going with this?
We lived in such a bubble as kids, and I know that we watched this as kids. We had it on VHS that recorded straight off TV.
This was par for the course for us as kids.
But it fell on deaf ears then. And now,
the size of the bubble, the density of the bubble that you guys lived in as kids is absolutely mind-boggling.
In high school, it is absolutely.
We broke out of our bubble, and thank God for that.
No shit.
Travis at one point, she heard, oh God, so another story.
The crew's going into no man's land, no white man's land, and they're looking for it. This is, you know what? I'm glad I was so uncomfortable leading up to the scene because the actual scene is amazing.
It is.
It's fucking amazing.
I was honestly terrified because I had not seen this before.
You've never seen this before?
I had never seen this before until this morning. And watching it, I was absolutely terrified where exactly they were going to go with, or how far they were going to take the racial stereotyping. I was honestly terrified. I had my finger on the pause button waiting for one of my children to come through. Not trying to shelter anybody, but I had no clue how far they were going to take the racial stereotyping.
This gang didn't need to be Mexican Americans. They did not need to be.
No.
They could have been anyone. And they really could have been. Because
they could have been Mexican, they could have been black, they could have been, Chinese, whatever.
We know you're not from our neighborhood. You're coming into our neighborhood, and we can tell through subtext that you're accusing us of something.
Oh, totally.
Mm-hmm. Only because you were such assholes at the gas station when those two guys were in the cop car.
Oh, no shit.
Oh, okay, we need to mention this.
Fuck that little pussy cop.
Oh my God.
I love their comments that they had made. The helicopter comment.
Yeah.
Great.
So,
I'll rent a helicopter, fly up 3,000 feet, and drop you like a sack of sewage.
Yeah. So the white guys tell to these two that are sitting in the back of a cop car.
The two Hispanic dudes in the back of the car.
You mess with my car, and he's real tough because these two guys are handcuffed inside of a cop car and can't do anything. And so he's a real tough guy.
They weren't handcuffed.
They weren't handcuffed. It was never, you could assume it because they were in the back of the car.
Everybody's supposed to be handcuffed in the back of a cop car. Am I wrong about that?
But the cop was saying, why are you assuming that they did something wrong?
Did you think that was awesome? This is a cop in an 80s movie being...
Who's on a payphone listening to these kids talking shit to the dudes in the back of his car.
Shut up. I mean, would you shut up with this? Because you don't know they're in trouble. You have no idea what they're in the back of that for. You think they're guilty of something.
Maybe it's a good thing that I didn't become a cop because I would have been the dude on the payphone who'd have been like, okay, look, motherfucker, unbuttoning my gun holster, back the fuck up. Back the fuck up.
So this is absolute turnabout fair play, right? So all of a sudden these guys are in their neighborhood and they're like, you should probably get out of here. And the guy's like, and if we don't, he's like, then that same guy comes up to him and says, we're going to get a helicopter, we're going to take you up 2,000 feet, we're going to drop you like a sack of sewage. Everybody's got their number in this
I
scene.
totally was expecting them to, again, further the racial stereotyping, and I was waiting to see the Mexican gangbangers, jump in, kick the shit out of them, and steal their car. I was beyond happy with the main I don't know if he was a gangbanger or not, or if it was just a bunch of friends hanging out.
Delapaz.
Yeah, Delapaz. I don't know if they were actual gangbangers or if they were just a bunch of dudes hanging out, cruising the boulevard.
They could have just been hanging out cruising the boulevard.
That's what I'm saying.
Every other kid, yeah.
I didn't know where they were going to go with that because not everybody that cruised Federal was they weren't all gangbangers. Some were just dumbass kids cruising the freaking boulevard.
I mostly remember dumbass kids. If they were gang members, I didn't know.
I actually
I had no fucking
I
idea.
hung out with a good chunk of them. We
already established
football.
I cruised Sheridan and you guys cruised Federal, but
I never cruised. We just played football and beat the hell out of each other playing football. That was what we did. So I knew a lot of them. But no, it was so. I mean, I was actually elated watching this scene when De La Paz says, "Don't ever come back to my neighborhood, ever. Don't ever come back unless you come as my friend."
this is right after a very cordial, friendly conversation, a very polite conversation. This echoed the nice, friendly conversation that Kiefer Sutherland and Keanu Reeves had.
Yeah.
With the same type of tons of subtext, a lot of subtext for a made-for-fucking TV movie.
Yeah, and
Yep.
it framed the instability of Billy Zane. I mean, it was picture frame right around him. It was, okay, he brought a gun to the
He brought
show.
a gun.
Yeah.
He plays a
And then-
whack
yeah,
job
that was a
so
time
well.
bomb ready to
He
go off,
really
yeah.
does play a whack job so fucking
So
well.
he's like, I've seen you play. You do a really good job. So, after we've got the pleasantries out of the way, what are you doing here? What's that?
Are there any more beers in the box?
Yeah.
I was going to throw them on ice.
Oh, here you go. All right, so pleasantries aside, may I help you? And
That was basically it.
And so he's like, we're looking for our friend's bike. He's like, so why'd you come here?
You're Mexican. Clearly, you stole it. That's all I got from that.
And so everyone's kind of like, He's like, oh, you think a Mexican stole your friend's bike? I can't believe I'm hearing this. What did I do? I'm just having dinner with my mother, and you come over here and you say I stole your bike. That's insane. And so he's like, we didn't say you stole it. We're just looking for it. Which, of course, everyone knows is bullshit.
Total bullshit.
Everyone knows that's
To
bullshit.
me, this was the pivotal public service announcement.
Oh, hell
and
yes.
done in a very
Hell
good
yes.
way.
Yeah.
I again was so thankful they played that scene out the way that they did. I was again waiting for the horribly just grotesque furthering of a racial stereotype.
So let's assume for the moment that even if this was the case, it would still be an amazing scene. Let's say they are horrible people. All right, let's say everybody there is a horrible person and they're absolutely stole his bike and all this shit. These gang members
If
have
they
bigger fish to
were-
fry. They're sitting there going, you are so
if they
insignificant
were
to
gang
us.
members.
Yeah, we don't have the time to rough you up. We need to get back to Chop Shop and all that stuff. We don't have the time.
Wow, you really saw a lot of
I
that.
said, let's assume that everyone here is a piece of shit, okay? Which I think is what the movie was going for. However, the scene in and of itself was beautifully constructed. And De La Paz, holy crap, he delivered it in such a good way. If you didn't see any other part of this movie, you should watch this scene alone.
Okay, sorry to say it, sad to say it, but when I first saw De La Paz's character there, all I could think was, whoa, Pauly Shore?
Really? He does look like, now that you mention that, he does. I'm like, where the fuck did he, oh, that's right, he totally did.
I forgot that De La Paz was in the movie because I did look at the cast. And I saw De La Paz's name come up, and I was like, oh shit, I like him. And then when I saw him in the car, I didn't recognize him. I thought Pauly Shore, and it was like, well, wait a minute. No. only if he gets out of the car wearing some cut off jean Daisy Dukes and a little tied up shirt on his chest would it be Pauly Shore. But it was De La Paz, so sorry, Mr. De La Paz.
It's kind of an interesting role for him. The guy's done a lot of work. I mean, a ton of work, and
Oh,
he's
yeah.
actually really good.
Yeah.
He's old, which just cracks me up when he says he went to
Last year.
Last year, it's like
I think he was like, I think he was
were
like
you a
30.
super senior,
Or a student assistant,
or a teacher? I mean, he's very well spoken. He could have been a teacher. Shit, it's like
I
mean,
went there. I delivered the mail last year.
I wear a blazer when I teach, but here I just
Why
kind
does
of
he
wear
have to
whatever.
deliver the mail there?
What is wrong with delivering mail?
Why couldn't he have been like an administrator?
he could be anything he wants to be.
So the point of all this is the fact that he walks away shows his power in so much more of a way than actually beating up the guys ever could. This reminds me of scenes like Schindler's List where you got the guy who's like, it's more powerful to let somebody live than it is to kill them. You exude more power by doing that.
The power of composure. And,
Yes,
and,
yes.
and you'll really find this, people who try to get their way and get their money back in stores, working in so many retail stores, where you have the people who come in and they throw a fit and they make a scene, and you don't want to give them what they want. But if you can hold intelligent composure, man, that is king. That is.
Yeah, I'll
win.
do anything for anyone if they can maintain that kind of composure as well. I'll go out of my way.
Yeah, big life lesson
De La
there.
Paz is 58.
Yeah. No,
he's
old
definitely
as balls. Yeah.
Yeah, old as balls.
Old as balls.
I've not heard that term
Mike,
before.
I say a lot of different colloquialisms that don't make any sense.
The wrinkles on the balls are like the lines of a tree.
He's old as balls.
Balls are like boobs or like lines in trees. You can tell the age of someone.
Well, I'm never going to forget that. So we're done with this scene, and the guys are like, they come back, and they're safe now because they're in their own neighborhood. And so this is where Keanu Reeves really freaks out on Billy Zane and says, listen, you can't do this. What would you have done? Would you have shot him? Then what? And this is a lot more of the PSA that comes out.
And Billy Zane tells him that he chickened out.
You chickened out, man.
We're
You chickened
fine.
out.
So Keanu Reeves, Derek, grabs him by his lapels or whatever, slams him onto the hood of the car.
This is the last time Keanu Reeves
slams.
ever muscled Billy Zane.
No, it was done later too. But grabs him by his lapels and gently slams him onto the hood of the car.
Well,
and then it's referenced later as him hitting him. And I was like, really? Really, even joking around, me and my guy friends beat the shit out of one another.
Yeah, we totally did.
That wasn't a hit. That was it was a gentle. He might as well have been prepping him for bedding him. He gently put him onto the hood of the car.
Breaking it down here, the next couple scenes really just show the Brotherhood kind of just getting out of control, losing focus. They're just punking around on guys that they don't like for whatever reason. It doesn't really amount to much. So this aspect of the film is really just there to show the audience the original source material of the Legion of Doom is just being assholes to minorities and
Not
gay
the Legion
people.
of Doom.
Well, this part of the story is trying to tell the story of the Legion of Doom.
It was the
Okay.
Brotherhood,
Yeah.
but in real life it was the Legion of Doom.
You didn't get that?
I did get that. Sorry, you can take
Did
a
you
break
guys-
to
did-
refill a
did-
drink.
So all
and
they're
you
doing
lose
is
stuff.
just showing the audience that the original source material of the Legion of Doom are just being assholes to
Did you guys go
minorities
into
and gay
this
people.
movie? Did you guys go into this movie knowing that this was based?
I did
loosely-
not.
Yeah, I did.
No.
Okay, I didn't know that until a couple hours ago, actually.
Oh,
I
really?
had no clue that it was based on actual events.
Very loosely. Very
Everything
loosely,
is based
yeah.
loosely.
This was real loosely. These guys were just. It was the statement that was made to clean up the school, but all they ended up doing was just picking on minorities and homosexuals. That was it.
So based loosely on the Legion of Doom, whatever bit, and yeah, I guess if you could say that yes, it was starting to show the degradation of the Brotherhood / Legion of Doom, whatever.
They're losing focus.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not
and
really
all
doing
of a
it.
sudden, and this is the problem. This is the problem you have with vigilanteism.
Yeah.
Everybody has the best of intentions, but
Uh-huh.
then this is the reason why socialism never works, anything like that, because you've always got to have somebody who wants more than the other.
That's right.
You've always got to have somebody to you're wrong. Your opinion is wrong, even though we all know that opinions can't be wrong. It's simply that
In
opinion.
the beginning, everything had to be unanimous, and they
Yes.
let that go real fucking fast.
Oh hell yeah, they did.
Yeah. So
they did.
if everything did have to be unanimous, it might have worked. If if they had strict rules of the people they targeted, it might have worked. I mean, all you're doing is targeting drug dealers and vandals. Okay, fine.
Go
It's
for
really
it.
hard to, even from a anti-vandalism or vigilanteism standpoint, it's hard to argue against it. But
Yeah.
what they're doing now, they're just being straight up punks. They torched the MG for him being ugly.
Because he was a dork
Yeah.
and ugly, and because he ratted out one of the Brotherhood
And he gets
for
more
cheating on a
chicks
test.
than anyone else.
This movie is a great example of what happens when your leader, who goes into something with good intentions, all of a sudden says, wait, this is not right, and the leader is no longer leading, and you have everybody else who's like, let's rise above it. You have total chaos because your leader is not leading anymore.
You know what? They called him the leader and said he started it.
He started it.
He did not start it. He did not. He just rolled right into it along with everybody else. In fact, it wasn't even his idea. It was Mule's idea.
It was the conversation they had when they saw the girl on the beach in the winter, and it was just the three of those guys, and he's like, you know what, this isn't such a bad idea.
He went along with it, but it wasn't his idea.
It was Mule that said we should do it.
But he's the quarterback.
Which was a total eye roll for me. So it's like, oh, it's a quarterback. What does that even mean? I still don't understand why quarterbacks are the captains of teams most of the time. He's just another fucking player.
Because they will always look to him as the leader of the team.
Well, I would have thought receivers would have been stars or even defensive.
He's the playmaker.
Hang on, yes.
He's taking orders from the coach. I mean, I know that much about football, but I know enough to say that.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Some quarterbacks are given the leeway to call the plays on the field without direction from the coach.
They're not even the biggest badasses. They're the most protected team member on the entire squad.
Sometimes. If you had watched the Bronco game today, you would know that to not be a true statement. Granted, it wasn't the Bronco. It wasn't Manning that was hit. It was, I don't remember his name right now, quarterback for the Browns. He got hit so fucking hard, fumbled the ball, and Broncos were able to drive it all the way to the end zone.
What happened, by the way? Broncos come out?
Broncos came out.
Broncos
they
won
keep
because of their
pulling it out.
defense.
Yep.
Broncos won because of their defense. They
Which isn't that just the way, though?
Broncos still can't score a fucking touchdown. It's their defense that's winning games. But anyway, we're not going off on the Broncos.
Hey, I mean, it's a loose tie in the movie. It's all about jocks and football players.
So this is why they thought that he was the leader, is because he's the quarterback. He is the natural choice for the leader.
Quarterbacks are the playmakers. They tell the running backs and the linemen, where they're supposed to be.
Mule has to talk Keanu Reeves into it like 3 different times. Mule is trying to constantly make sure that Keanu Reeves is the leader, like
because
3 different times.
He is the leader, but Keanu Reeves, being the upstanding, respectable individual that he is,
that's right.
He's got to convince him that what they're doing is right.
Which is why it surprised me so many times when they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go kick the shit out of this guy because he's a dork," and he's like,
and ugly.
"Oh, if he's such a dork, why does he even get chicks?" He's like, all of a sudden you're like, "Why is this relevant? Is this what you're doing now?" And that's where
stealing all our women.
Dude, this is bullshit.
I was on.
Even though I have a steady girlfriend.
I was on board with the whole vigilanteeism when they were talking about going after the
for the first half of the movie.
Right.
First half of the movie when they're going after drug pushers, from the school and everything. And
it's hard not to be.
When they kicked the shit out of the pusher in the bathroom, I was okay with that.
I wasn't okay that they didn't have masks on.
Why are they completely okay doing that? Why does nobody know who these people are?
Right.
Do we need cameras? They didn't have cameras.
Why do people know their secret, Brotherhood of Justice handshake?
Okay, everyone knew who it was. Everyone knew, except for the adults.
Yeah, all the cops have to do is ask any given kid, "Oh yeah, it's there."
The most excruciating stereotype for me in films, men and adults in movies are just fucking stupid,
or just clueless
idiots.
And we really showcase this in finding movies from the 80s. It is the adults are buffoons.
But this movie rose above it with that cop being like, "Hey, fuck off. Fuck off making fun of these guys. You don't know what they're in my car for." I love that. I was
whatever.
Like, "Oh, good on you. Good on you."
That pussy-ass cop just stood there on the phone.
Well, he's got a phone call to make, Mike. I mean, he's got to be doing this, but he's telling 6 guys.
Excuse me, so-and-so, hold for a moment, back the fuck off or I'll shoot you.
All right, so we're getting to the end of this movie, and in the last scene, Derek's getting wind that the other guys are putting a bomb on Victor's car.
A bomb.
This
is a pipe bomb.
Okay, didn't you think it was funny that he was taking the 2 popsicle sticks to put in the
oh my God, that was
why didn't he just take the newspaper and turn it into an angle and dump it in?
Guys, it's not like we can go into a lot of detail about bomb making on this show, but it's it's my understanding that it's all about proportions. Okay, so
Okay. So you're
That's all I'm
telling
gonna
me.
fucking
It
say
takes
about that.
18 popsicle sticks to make a bomb.
Didn't you read the Anarchist Cookbook?
18 popsicle sticks. Huh? All right. So
Okay, it's all about proportions.
So
Fuck all that. We're not talking about
he was
that.
making precise measurements with his popsicle sticks. I saw it
It's
as
not
an
about precise measurements. It's about ratios.
it was
right?
it was about him getting to
Right,
play with popsicle
Mike?
sticks. That's all it was.
all we're
was him getting to play
saying
with popsicle sticks.
about bomb making.
I've never made a fucking bomb.
Good, great. That's fine. We're not talking about bombs or bomb making.
There
We're
was
going
no
into that
measuring. He was
detail.
playing with fucking popsicle sticks.
So he goes hauling ass. I mean, tearing down the road, and he stops Kiefer Sutherland from getting in his car.
Speed prequel. Speed
This is
fucking
so Speed
prequel.
prequel. I mean, this is Keanu Reeves in Speed going, hey, I got this idea. I did this once in a movie.
If you're going 55 and there's a bomb attached, then you know what's going to happen if you drop below. Yeah.
I actually like the scene.
I love the scene. I actually really did.
I thought it was
I-
dumb as shit.
Really? Why?
I thought it was dumb as shit.
I
Keanu Reeves
was
crawls
glad
oh.
that he was not able to turn properly. He had to correct his turns. He had to, straighten
Oh, where
things
he
out.
spun out. He
Yeah.
spun out
Yeah.
at the intersection. That was great.
You got a little bit of muscle behind that V8 on that rebadged Mustang, don't you?
And then he gets up there, and Keanu Reeves' character could have been like, whoa, 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 what do you mean, back away from the car? No, but he challenged him on it, like, fuck off.
It's like you just playing your stupid
He
games
tells him.
again.
He tells him, "Don't move, man. Damn it, just listen to me. Don't move. Now
Damn
back
it,
away
that's
from the
what I
car.
said,
Now
bro."
back away from the car. Wait a minute, dumbass. You just told me don't move. Now you're screaming at me. Move away from the car."
I still.
And then he crawls up under the car and finds the wire and cuts the wire because
God.
he was told explicitly it's a trip wire. So what am I going to do? I'm going to crawl up. The only wire that I can see, I'm going to cut this wire.
Dude, the second I
Speed
confirm that
fucking
there
prequel.
is some kind of electronic device on the front of my bumper, I'm not touching it.
No,
Look,
that's where
everyone
you
backs
say,
away,
call
we'll
the
go to
cops.
That's it. We just call the cops. I don't
Cut
need to get under
everything
the
out.
car. I
Cut
don't need to
everything
disarm
out.
it.
Cut everything out. Hit him racing up. Screeching to a stop. Dude, stop! Don't touch the car. Don't move. Don't move, bro. Don't move. Damn it! Just listen to me, bro. Move.
They
Move
are
away
in
from the car.
California, okay?
It's like,
He may
okay,
have
wait a minute.
surfed once or
Now
twice.
you're horribly contradicting yourself because you said don't fucking move. Now you're telling me to move the fuck away from the car, which is it? Then he crawls under the car. My ass, yes. Would I have been the guy to step in front of the little, sheepish kid about ready to get his ass beat? Yes. Would I have gotten my ass beat? More than likely. But yes, I would have stepped in front of the kid. Dude, if you're going to get to him, you got to go through me first. Stupid fucking move. I probably would have gotten my ass beat, but I would have been that guy. But crawling under the car to cut the line on a fucking pipe bomb. No!
I do love how with these kind of situations they're trying to build up tension with the ticking clock, and so they're gonna show Kiefer Sutherland getting really close to the car, dancing around the car, not quite opening up the door. He's reaching inside the car, but
Yeah.
I'm not opening.
Did you
the
notice
door.
in this movie when they went to get out of cars, they reached their hand out the window and
I saw
opened it
that
from
at
the
least 3 times.
outside.
I'm like-
and then he goes to get into the car and he reaches inside
Who
the
does
car
that?
to pull the handle.
Why are you doing that? I see that a lot in movies. Why do you reach outside the car?
We
to
did
open-
that as kids. It wasn't reaching out of the car to open it and then reaching inside the car to open it. We had to reach outside of the car or inside the car because more
the
than
handle
likely
didn't
the
work.
handle was busted
Okay, fine.
and it only worked
The
on the
handle's not
outside
broken.
or
on
the
every
inside.
single car.
You don't notice? Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
ever
giggled.
notice
I
that?
had a good giggle over
Yeah,
that.
that was
Okay.
right up there with when he doored the car, and then right after that, his brother gets out and reaches outside and opens up the door. I'm
Yeah.
like, is this for our benefit? Why are you doing that?
What? Yeah, just open your car door.
Okay. How nonchalant did Derek, how nonchalant did he look while he was racing, speeding down
Yeah.
these side streets?
This is
He
Unit
just
B
sitting back
stuff.
chill, like he just smoked a fucking
Yeah,
joint
he
or a
was
bowl,
pretty-
man.
he was chill.
chill
This
as
is
hell.
Unit B stuff because he's in a studio in a car and mock up, and they're like, "Okay, you're racing down the road." Yes, I am. I'm racing down the road. He's pretending, right? Because they don't want to strack the car to the back of a
Okay,
of a
that's
moving
fine.
tow
Pretend.
truck.
Pretend. Look a little bit concerned or a little bit stressed, but this just leads up to, the whole Keanu Reeves Bill and Ted being his best role ever.
God,
Sorry, no. Matrix because he didn't have to show
Keanu
emotion in
Reeves
Matrix.
is so much more than the sum of his parts.
Okay,
That,
I
that
will
nobody
watch.
has discovered it yet.
I will. Oh shit!
You guys don't
oh
like
shit!
it as an actor.
I will
I
watch
really
every movie
don't.
that Keanu Reeves is in. I will watch every single
Oh,
fucking
hell
movie
yeah.
Keanu Reeves is in. But
You know, I thought the same thing about Nicolas Cage until I watched that
God.
vampire movie the other night that I couldn't even watch
Vampire's
one
Kiss.
scene.
Vampire's Kiss. He had this Valley Girl accent to him. It
Wait
was
till you watch
so bad.
Wicker Man. Oh, that's treasure.
I can't bring myself
The
to watch
bees, the bees, ah!
it.
Anyway. Okay, so that's the end of the movie. He saves Victor. Victor calls the cops. He turns himself in, and then we got the shot of everyone getting arrested. The stills. of
And
everyone getting
Keanu
arrested.
Reeves getting arrested, which still baffles me because he already turned himself in. Unless they sent him home so he could shower and freshen up beforehand, there was no reason for him to be thrown.
Look,
in
out
the
of
back
respect
of
for
a
your
squad
position,
car.
we're gonna let you go home and take a shower.
So the way that they did the end, I'm surprised that they did not show the true story. I mean, they set it up completely with the shots.
They got
Totally.
no rights to the story whatsoever. None of the original people on conditions of their sentence were allowed to give movie rights. It is possible that the original members of the Legion of Doom were minors.
Dang
If
it.
they're minors, then you
But
can't do that.
you can still say Derek is now serving his time, or after having served his time is.
I was a
now
little surprised they didn't do that epilogue.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, because he was supposed to go
Okay.
to Harvard. I mean, the whole lead up was he had a life set for him. He was a good boy. He did the right things.
But if
Star
everyone knows this is
quarterback.
based off of a true movie, that you can't get real details on it, and nobody's allowed to talk to you, even the cops, the sheriff department at the time, all that, they're not allowed to talk to you, giving any real specifics
Yeah, but you can
to
read
the
the news.
media or anyone.
So some of our listeners have talked about where you can find the movies that we're watching, and this particular one, thank goodness, was free on YouTube, the entire full movie. So
We're always going to recommend that you seek out all of these movies legally, that
Correct.
you buy them, because that gives royalties and credits to the actual filmmakers, which is of course a much better than just getting the movie for free, of course.
right, so this one can be found on YouTube, and
That, and to be totally honest, I don't quite know how to get them illegally.
It's on for download at Amazon.
our kids know how. We have no idea
Our
how.
kids know how, but I don't
The
know.
full movie's on. It's like $3 on Amazon Prime. I mean, it's like.
Oh,
yeah,
actually, no. It's free on YouTube. It's absolutely. That's how I watched it. Is that
I
not
think
legal?
that- I
Is
think-
that not legal?
I think that one's pirated. You're a
or
Napster
whatever.
guy too, aren't you?
No, I have to give a little bit of a promo here. We're not going to be doing our next show on October 21st, but since we've got a couple actors in this movie that are in Back to the Future, guess what the future date is, folks?
Oh, yeah.
October 21st, 2015.
This is
we
when
are
Back to the
in
Future's
the
two
future. Obviously,
happened.
we're not going to do a review on Back to the Future. You all have seen it. We're not going to shred it. We're not. It's great. It is what it is. We're not going to tear.
We're not
apart.
gonna do
And
Back to
it's
the
been
Future.
done.
Fuck off!
So,
I want
it's
my
been done.
hoverboard.
So
Fuck
everybody-
off! I want my hoverboard
We do want to give full props to the movie, though. Absolutely.
and my
Absolutely.
flying car. God damn it!
I'm supposed to have a flying car. I'm supposed to have a hoverboard.
I'm supposed to have shoes that lace themselves.
So let's get to the burning question here, guys. You guys recommend this movie?
I'm still on the fence on whether or not I could recommend this movie.
If you have nothing better to do,
Nothing better
if
to do.
you are bored to fucking tears, watch this movie.
It's not on that line.
Oh, for me it was. For me it is.
No, I definitely would put it more on recommend than not recommend.
Well, on that note, I think that wraps it up. So that was Brotherhood of Justice, 1986. This was directed by Charles Braverman and written by a couple people, Noah Jublier and Jeffrey Bloom. If you want to get a hold of us, please direct any and all correspondence to flicksanddicks@gmail.com. Check out our Twitter and Facebook. Check us out on iTunes on the podcast. Also on Podomatic, we're definitely there. Stitcher Radio app, I did notice that we're also being broadcast there. Don't forget to check out our other episodes. The most recent one being, what's the last one we just
License
did?
to Drive.
License
No,
to
we
Drive.
did one after this. Sleeping with the Enemy.
Oh,
Sleeping with the
Yeah,
Enemy,
the last
License
one.
to Drive, and The Wizard, of course.
Yeah.
And
Shred us, rip us apart.
yeah, guys,
Positive feedback.
Please.
Something.
So check us out next week. We're not really sure what we're doing then, but I will go ahead and give you a teaser before then. Until then, I'm Travis.
I'm Mike.
I'm Lisa.
Take it easy.